Hey, Valpo fans, this is Noah Godsell, and stay tuned right now as we are about to jump over to the Arc for Valparaiso taking on Belmont in a men's basketball matchup. Zach Collins and James Dorer on the call. It's going to be an exciting game, and stay on for this exciting call as we're going to kick it over to Zach. Good luck today, Zach.
To the Valpo Sports Radio Network, the home of Beacon Athletics.
Screen from Tricky. Reedinger shoots a deep three. And he makes it! Preston Reedinger has given Valpo the lead with 1:15 to go.
From the game-winning touchdown to the last-second shot, the Valpo Sports Radio Network brings you every game for your Beacons.
Then kicks it back out to Brown. Brown puts up a three. That one drains in. Olivia Brown for three.
On air at 95.1 FM and streaming live at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from the Athletics Recreation Center on the campus of Valparaiso University for tonight's men's basketball Missouri Valley Conference matchup featuring the home team on the scoreboard, the 6-11 Valparaiso Beacons, who are coached by Matt Loddick, who's in his 7th season overall at Valparaiso, and the 11-6 Belmont Bruins, who are coached by Casey Alexander, who's in his 4th season as a head coach of the Bruins. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Zach Collins, sitting alongside James Dorer for tonight's game, and we're just about 25 minutes away from opening tip-off, and now we'll start here with the Northwest Health men's basketball pregame show right here on the Valpo Sports Radio Network, WVUR, The Source, 95. James, let's start by talking about the Beacons in their last game against the Bradley Braves. Bradley really dominated in the game overall. I mean, if you just look at it in a standstill, Valpo allowed 2 11-0 runs, and Bradley was able to get on to a 22-2 spurt in the first half. Eventually, they won in the competition 88-66 over Valpo on Saturday. Ben Cricky remained in a bright spot in that competition, however, with 17 points, added 7 rebounds, and put 3 assists on the stat sheet. 4 Valpo players reached double figures, but Bradley was able to just continue dominating on its home floor, and they are continuing to have a home court record of a 16 streak. Games won in a row. I mean, it's insane of how good the Bradley Braves have been in previous seasons at home. You look at them overall in the Valley standings. I mean, Bradley currently sitting at 9-0 at home, 2-4 away. I mean, it just shows how big a home difference is, and it honestly might make a big impact here for Valpo tonight, being back in the Arc, bringing some students back into the Arc as well.
Absolutely, and seeing that the Beacons as well are a better team when they play at home as well. But if you look at that last game against Bradley, one thing that really sticks out to me has been a consistent theme for a Valparaiso defense all season is Bradley was able to shoot close to 60% from the field, almost 45% from three. And when you let up that many points, it's hard to win ball games like that, especially when you're struggling to shoot the three ball as Valpo is you got to be able to play great defense to offset that lack of ability to shoot the ball.
Right, and I mean, you look at both of the last two games for Valpo. Valpo took on Bradley in the last game. Then the game before here, while Valpo was at home, both started off 11-0 runs for the opposing team on each side up until like the last 3 minutes. I mean, Valpo, these slow starts for the Beacons have really been crucial in the opening minutes of each competition. And, I mean, James, really what's going to get Valpo off to these quicker starts? Because, really, they're great in the second half. I mean, their second half performance has been great. The last 10 minutes of the first half has been great. But that first 10 minutes, you just don't know what they're going to do with the basketball.
Absolutely. You know, Ben Cricky and Kobe King are the stars of the team, but I think Nick Edwards is what makes this team go.
Right.
In his last couple games, you know, Edwards has really struggled to be able to put the ball in the hoop as he scored a total, I believe he scored, 2 points in the last game and no points in the game before that. Combined of, I mean, he shot, 0 for 11 and 1 for 11, I want to say, in the last game, 1 for 5 in this one. So it's just really been a struggle for him in being able to put the ball in the hoop, but also he just really gets guys involved. You know, he had that in the wins against Stonehill and Elon, racked up double-digit assist games, really been able to play really well for the Beacons at times this season. But, again, it seems like the Beacons are looking elsewhere for guard play as his minutes have kind of gone down and gone to other guys in the rotation, including Maximus Nelson and Connor Barrett.
And, I mean, even Darius Diavero coming back off of an injury, seeing pretty much the entire the second half of both of the last 2 games have been played by Diavero over Edwards in a lot of competitions. And the thing is, Diavero is a good guard, but he doesn't score on the floor. Nick Edwards averaging 7.2 points per game, 3.6 rebounds per game coming into this competition. You look to the opposite side of Diavero, 2.1 points per game, 1.8 rebounds per game, and even the assists aren't that high in terms of being a guard. If you're an assist leader on a team, you want to be about 5 or more an average per game. He's only sitting at 3.8. Nick Edwards at a 2.2. So, I mean, does the difference really rely in between those two players? I mean, you know, Coach Loddick has decided who he wants to stick with. We'll see who he plays here in this competition tonight. It actually looks like he's going to be starting Nick Edwards in this competition, so it could get him some more playing time. Do you think that's a good thing for the Beacons coming into this game against the Bruins?
I do. I think Edwards definitely has a higher ceiling of play. I think it all depends on how Edwards starts, right, in terms of his minutes. I think you will see some DeVario, though, tonight, as he's a guy that Loddick has talked about consistently. Just does the right thing. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. A very fundamentally sound player, but to your point, not a guy you're going to look to score the basketball. And in Missouri Valley play, you really need a point guard, especially that's willing to put the ball on the floor and create his own shot. And that's something we've seen Nick Edwards do multiple times this season and help open up space for guys like Cricky and King in the paint.
And we'll see what happens here tonight, as we'd like to remind you that the Valpo men's basketball pregame show is brought to you by Calumet Brewing, Gastonia Tractor, Wings, etc., Lakeshore Bone and Joint, Northwest Health, First Source Bank, Hungry Howie's, Culver's, Royal Excursion, and Ticket Smarter. And once again, you're listening to the Northwest Health men's basketball pregame show right here on the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Let's actually take a look into the series between the Bruins and the Beacons overall, as the first meeting took place December 22nd, 1997. Valpo won that game 78-62, and Valpo is currently leading in this series 9-2 overall until the 9-3 had come into oppose on Valpo's side, as Belmont won the first meeting overall in the series so far this season. And that competition actually looked to be a big victory for Belmont in Nashville, which actually opened up Valley play for the Beacons. And looking at this too, the teams played really kind of a rare non-conference matchup before that. It was a home-and-home within the same season. It was 2015-2016. Valpo in that competition actually lost 85-81 in a close competition in Nashville, and that's even under the Bryce Drew era. Really one of the only players that are on staff, or nobody on the bench. And at the same time, Luke Gore was one of the only coaches that is on the bench as well for this Beacons team. I believe Matt Loddick was an assistant at that point, but not even promoted up until a head coach in 2017, I believe. I
think that was his first season. First season in 2017,
yep. So a big difference here from that last game. Valpo has, however, won 6 all-time home matchups with the Bruins in the series overall, 9-3. I mean, James, it makes a big impact being at home, but looking at how Valpo's performed in the last few games, on a 4-game losing streak, they're 5-3 at home overall. They haven't won an away game just yet. I mean, Valpo just hasn't been able to get a nick on that away roster yet. They haven't been able to come home with a win. Do you think it's a big impact coming into this competition here tonight against Belmont, especially the Bruins being as good as they have been in previous seasons? Do you think it's a big impact that Valpo's at home against Belmont?
I do, absolutely, as well. They play some of their best basketball at home, but I think for Valpo fans, you got to be encouraged by the fact they did beat a James Madison team earlier this year. That's a top 50 team in the country. And you can see that Valpo can play up to their competition, and that's why, I think this could be a closer game than a lot of people anticipate, especially in the early going with the home fans trickling in. We brought up the students coming back on campus. So, again, it could be a major factor, I think, is the crowd, as well as Belmont is a team that also struggles on the road, as well as the Beacons.
We'll look into this game just a little bit later, as when we return, we'll meet the opponents, the Belmont Bruins, talk to the associate head coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore, talk about the keys to the game, conference standings, and get into the starting lineups. And the tip-off of this contest will follow shortly after. So stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Valpo men's basketball right here on the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of Hungry Howie's hot, real mozzarella cheese melting over a bed of dough made fresh today. And flavored crust loaded with any combination of our mouth-watering flavored crust flavors. You probably didn't think Irresistible had a sound. Well, it does now. Now get a meal deal for any budget starting at the irresistible price of just $5.99.
Hungry
Howie's!
Reinold and Feller Tire and Lawn Equipment strive to exemplify the true meaning of the words trust, courtesy, and honesty. In fact, many of our customers say we've done a pretty good job of it. Since 1958, we've been providing auto repair and full-service tire sales to Porter County, Indiana. Come visit us at our Valparaiso or La Crosse locations, or check us out at heinold-feller.com. We look forward to many more years of providing you excellent service, because at our Heinold and Feller, your family matters to ours.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor, as he does everything to make
my yard look as beautiful as I possibly can.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Experience all that John Deere has to offer at Castonia Tractor. Visit us online at castrac.com, castrac.com.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
And we are back here at the Athletics Recreation Center alongside James Dorer. I'm Zach Collins. We'll continue here on our Northwest Health men's basketball pregame show right here on the Valpo Sports Radio Network, WVUR 95.1 FM. James, let's take a look into the Valley and some of tonight's games, which are brought to you by IBEW, the Powering America team of Northwest Indiana. This being the earliest game of Valley play, Belmont and Valparaiso. Drake taking on UIC at 7 o'clock, and Murray State's going to be taking on UNI also at 7 o'clock. We'll make sure to give you updates throughout this game of the score of that competition and both of those competitions as well. On Wednesday, January 11th, SIU is going to be taking on Indiana State at 6 o'clock. Missouri State taking on the Redbirds of Illinois State at 7. And Evansville is going to be taking on Bradley at 7 o'clock as well. One game that I'm really interested to see is actually a game taking place tomorrow. That's Southern Illinois and Indiana State game. Two of the best teams currently right now in the Valley, the 1 and 2 teams. We got Indiana State at 13-4, Southern Illinois at 12-5. I mean, James, that's just going to be a great competition between both of those teams.
Oh, absolutely. Again, playing for the top spot in the Valley. And you got to mention the offensive firepower of both those teams will be exciting to watch.
And, I mean, Indiana State, they're coming off a season where they actually added on a new coach, added on some new pieces, lost some pieces, and those pieces that they brought on have fit that puzzle perfectly. I mean, it is a perfect picture of how this Indiana State team is. I mean, just looking at the Sycamores overall, 7-1 at home, 4-game winning streak, 13-4 in the season. They haven't lost a game yet in conference. I mean, for a Sycamores team to come and do that, coming from just a couple seasons ago, we were there sitting at the bottom of the Valley, sitting with Evansville and Valpo and a couple other teams. Even, I mean, UNI for one season, and look at UNI now even. I mean, they're struggling a little bit in the season as we've got the Panthers sitting at an 8-8 overall record, 4-2 in the Valley. They're one of those teams that pick up in Valley play, and they just run with it. So they're a team that I definitely feel like will move up as we get into some of the conference standings here, which are brought to you by First Source Bank. Strong, stable, local, personal banking. That's First Source Bank. Belmont actually sitting in that number 3 spot in the Valley overall. Right behind them is Bradley, a team that Valpo just faced off against. Bradley getting that one game to end their losing streak as they, I believe, lost 3 games straight coming into that competition. So big difference, 2 games straight coming into that competition. Big difference for them there. Murray State sitting right behind UNI, the Murray State Drake Illinois State finishing in the bottom of the conference. We've got UIC, Valparaiso, and Evansville. Valpo and Evansville both with 4-game losing streaks. Evansville has won a road game, however. Valpo hasn't been able to pull in a road game win yet. And, I mean, really, road games are very important this season. I mean, in the Valley, you're going to play a team twice. And not only are you going to play them twice, one's going to be at home, one's going to be away. You can't lose all 11 games on the road and be successful in the season.
And, yeah, absolutely, especially when you go into conference tournament play, which is where Valpo is going to be headed if they want to continue their season most likely. But, again, if you're Valpo, you got to start building some games together and building some momentum together in this season as, you know, we're kind of about a quarter way through the season now, right. And it's time to kind of show out who you really are as you kind of get deeper into conference play, now seeing teams for a second time. So hopefully you're getting for a better feel of what teams like to do in their schemes and nature of that.
Let's also look into Belmont as well. I mean, Belmont, a very successful program over the last few years. This is their first season in Valley play. They're part of the OVC last season. 25-8 overall record last year. 15-3 in conference play. I mean, just a phenomenal team last year. And looking at this program overall, Belmont, Gonzaga, Kansas, and San Diego State are the only NCAA Division I programs to win 19 or more games in 17 consecutive seasons. I mean, they're like the LA Dodgers of college basketball. I mean, they're just good every single year. Good program every single year. I mean, Casey Alexander came into this program after they were very successful and continued the success. They went in 2020 to the NCAA tournament and last year to a 2022 NIT performance. And I mean, they're just a great team overall. He's 77-19 at Belmont. It just shows in the record right there. And Casey Alexander, he's also had 26 victories in his first year. It is the most for any Division I coach in their first year ever to come in and won 26 games. He was a former head coach at Stetson, and he was actually put in the Belmont Hall of Fame in 2005 for his tenure over at Belmont, as we're going to be joined up here shortly by associate head coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore. And, I mean, it's just going to be great, James.
Absolutely. It will be.
And we're joined up here by associate head coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore. And first, Coach, how you doing today? You're coming into this competition playing Belmont. You've taken on Belmont already. You've seen them already so far this season. However, this is a game at home. You're undefeated at home, 6-0 against this Belmont team. You're looking for a Valley win. What's the play looking like here tonight?
Excited. It's game day. Really, really excited. We played well at home and excited to play Belmont. They're playing really well. Got a couple big wins the last couple times out, and excited for the game.
Coach, in the last competition, Drew Freiberg had 20 points in that last game just over a month ago. What's the key to be stopping him in this competition tonight?
Don't let him shoot. He's 6 or 8 from 3. Simple as that. Keep someone smaller on him, and if we have to switch into his space and don't let him shoot. I mean, he's as good a shooter as they're out there. He reminds me a little bit of Sam Hampaw back in the day, where if he can catch and shoot from deep, he has a good chance of hitting it.
Coach, slow starts have been an impact on your team so far this season, especially in the last 2 games. How are you looking to change that coming into this game tonight?
Start faster. How about that?
All right.
You know, but no, last 2 games we've been down. We spotted the other team basically 10 points and then got a rhythm and got rolling. Guys are getting more confident in what they're doing and how they're doing it. And so I'm excited to see how the start goes tonight.
And, Coach, also one other thing looking at it, Kobe King's just 11 points away from a career-high 1,000 points. He's currently sitting at 889 points coming into this contest. How has he been an impact on this Beacons team in the last 2 seasons?
It's amazing. All the things that he went through to be still able to play college basketball, committed to his team. Just an honor that he's on our team and honor to be around him. And great young man.
Now, Coach, one other thing before we let you go here. Nick Edwards has seemed to be a big impact on the offensive side. He's been good in assists. He's been good in scoring points, driving to the basket. How are you looking for him to make an impact on this game tonight?
Make the right play, cut hard to the basket, get some things downhill so he can spray out the shooters, and like he's capable. He's a great passer. And then on the defensive end, just bring a high energy and really guard.
Thank you so much for your time here, Thanks. Coach, on our pregame show. That is Associate Head Coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore, here on our pregame show. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk with him. Of course, stay tuned for our postgame show after the following game of this contest, as we will interview him after the final score is presented to you there. But hey, we're looking for a big game here tonight in this competition. Look at the ESPN BPI prediction. Valpo 37.6% chance to win. Belmont sitting at a 62.4% chance to win. The over-under coming into this game is 140.5 points. So, James, I mean, he seems very optimistic on this game coming into it tonight. Seems very excited for his team to take on Belmont, a team that they had already lost to earlier this season. And really, Valpo's at home. The Arc is the busiest I've seen it since being on break. I called most games overall on break, and this is the busiest that it's been. It's good to have fans back in here in the Arc. I mean, really just talk about how Valpo's coming into this game tonight. And they're looking at Belmont. They're looking to come in. They're starting off hot, or at least hoping to start off hot. A 10-0 run in the 2 games ago, an 11-0 run in the last game to start off on the visitor side of the floor. Valpo's really got to step it up here tonight.
Absolutely, and I think bring up your point is you got to start off to a quick start. And I think that would be the key to success for Valpo. We kind of talked about Nick Edwards getting in a rhythm early. But again, right. I think feeding Cricky in the early beginning, but also being able to limit the three-point shot. The last time these two teams met, Belmont shot close to 45% from 3, and you're just not going to win many games when that happens.
Right, and I mean, looking at that as well, it brings us to our keys to the game, which are brought to you by Royal Excursion, the travel partner of Valparaiso Athletics. Really, Valpo, get up to a hot start. I mean, we've seen slow starts. I mean, even Coach Gore even saying, well, we got to start faster. I mean, you can't even put in any more aspect of that. I was hoping for a more descriptive answer, but hey, you always get what you get, and he definitely gives it to you right there, right straight to the point, and put up a defensive pressure. You mentioned that earlier in the pregame show. It's not even Valpo's not scoring. It's that they're not playing tough defense, and that's why they're getting these 11-0 runs.
They're scoring in the middle of the pack right now in the conference, but they rank dead last in the conference in terms of scoring defense. And talking about Luke Gore is kind of known as the defensive head coach here for Valpo, so it's got to be a huge frustration for him to get the team to play more cohesive together. I think one thing that will help, though, is, again, being back at home always seems to help this team, and hopefully with the fans coming back in the building, energy helps you play great defense, and that turns into easy offense. So
we're hoping that Valpo's able to make a big impact on this game, get off to a quick start in this competition, as we're going to pause here for the national anthem, which is going to be played by my alma mater, Couts High School. And that is the national anthem. As I mentioned, played by alma mater, Couts High School. You always look for the mustard yellow jackets, and you can always find them anywhere. I got that ugly thing in a closet somewhere. But we're going to get into the starting lineups here, as we're going to start with the Belmont Bruins. They're going to be starting in this competition. Guard number 3, Keyshawn Davidson. Guard number 22, Ben Shepard. Forward number 10, Cade Tyson. Forward number 12, Drew Freiberg, and center number 0, Evan Bronze. They're, of course, coached by Casey Alexander in his 4th season. They are led in scoring overall as a team by Ben Shepard, averaging 18.1 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 3.5 assists per game, averaging 45% from the field so far this season and 40% from the 3. I mean, he's just a very big impact so far this season for Belmont. He's one of the only returning 8. They lost 7 players, and out of the 8 top scorers he's the number one, and thank God they can bring him back this season. If you're Belmont, you're very happy to bring him back, the 6'6" senior out of Atlanta, Georgia, a city I was also just in recently. So making so many ties here in this game tonight. Didn't even expect to do that here. James, anything on Belmont before we get into the Valpo starting lineups?
No, I think you have to be concerned about Shepard, as Luke Gore kind of talked about in the pregame show, a guy that can get off his shot from anywhere. But quick question, what were you doing in Georgia?
I was at, it's called Uncommon Sports Group. It's a Christian sports group where a lot of individuals, equipment managers, we've got broadcasters, we've got coaches. We all meet together pretty much in fellowship and have a good time. So it's pretty great. You never know what to expect out of things. And there's an answer to your question as we're going to head it down to the PA announcer for tonight's starting lineups for the Valparaiso Beacons.
Are you ready for Beacons basketball?
You just throw that in there, not
The starting lineup for your Valparaiso University Beacons at the point. A 6'1", fifth-year senior from Atlanta, Georgia, number 5, Nick Edwards.
Whoa. Get the headphones on, baby.
At guard, a 6'7", sixth-year senior from Columbus, Ohio, number 14, Quentin Green.
Sixth-year, baby. Senior.
In the middle, a 6'8" freshman from Appleton, Wisconsin, number 13, Maximus Nelson. At guard, a 6'4", fifth-year senior from La Crosse, Wisconsin, number 35, Kobe King. At forward, 6'9" senior from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, number 23, Frankie.
And those are your Valparaiso Beacons starting lineups. Once again, number 5, Nick Edwards. Number 13, Maximus Nelson. Number 14, Quentin Green. Number 23, Ben Crickey. And number 35, Kobe King. They're led by head coach Matt Lonick in the 7th season. 103-107 overall record for Coach Lonick. I mean, James, who are you seeing on Valpo's side to make a big impact coming into this game tonight?
I mean, we've talked about Nick Edwards already, but other than that, I'd like to say Jerome Palm, a guy that's really been a defensive presence for the Beacons and a guy that's really been able to work well in the post and someone that's just only going to get better with more minutes. Seems to be getting more comfortable with the team, his first season with the team. So someone that I think will really stand out is really a guy I think should get more minutes as a defensive anchor for Valpo, which is something where they desperately need it. A guy that the Beacons are better on defense when he's on the court.
And we'll see his impact as well as Nick Edwards' impact coming into this game tonight. Those starting lineups brought to you by Northwest Health. Schedule an appointment tonight at mycarenorthwesthealth.com. Valpo's going to be wearing their home uniforms with brown trim and gold lettering. They're the white uniforms for Valparaiso. Belmont's wearing their away uniforms, navy blue with red trim and white lettering. Valpo will be going from left to right. Belmont will be going from right to left as we're about to tip off here for this contest. Ben Crickey and Evan Bronze in the center circle as the official looks over towards the scorer's table. And once again, thank you for joining us here on our pregame show as Belmont wins the opening tip.
Be interested to see early what kind of defensive scheme Valpo plays today. See if they go to more of a zone to kind of help offset.
Belmont takes up a shot, knocks down a 3. Drew Feiberg knocking down the first 3 points of this competition. And so far, James, Valpo's defense really just allows the first point of the game on the first shot of the game.
Key was it was an open shot, non-contested, easy look there for Belmont.
Right. Crickey, top of the key, drives left, dishes out. 3-point attempt for the Beacons is attempted by Green. It's no good, and a rebound on the opposite side for Belmont's Freiberg.
Again, if I'm Valpo, I'm going to a zone here.
Freiberg controls, kicks it out to Tyson. Dishes it out to Bronze. Left wing for Shepard. Top of the key, 3-point attempt for the Bruins once again. Missed by Drew Freiberg. The only 2 attempts attempted by the graduate student. Kobe King now controls for the Beacons. Kicks out, finds Nelson, who gets it to Crickey, top of the key. Hands it off, finds Edwards. Gets double team, drives right hand layup attempt, rolls around and falls in for Nick Edwards.
Those are the type of plays Nick Edwards make for you. Once again, creating his own shot. Nice play there by Edwards.
Belmont now with the basketball as Freiberg kicks it. finds Shepard. 4-3, knocks it in. Deep three-point attempt by the senior.
Once again, an open look. All 3 looks this game have been open looks for Belmont as they've converted on 2 of 3 of them this far.
Edwards, top of the key, dishes it, finds Crookie. Three-pointer is no good. Kobe King tried to go in there with a rebound, but a good rebound by Ben Shepard as he comes down the floor quickly. Left wing, Tyson, 4-3. No good for Belmont. Valpo's Maximus Nelson able to pull in the rebound. Edwards going down the floor quickly, dishes it to Crookie underneath the hoop, knocks it in.
Once again, Nick Edwards facilitating the offense through Crookie, which is, I think, Valpo's winning formula to win this ball game.
Belmont now looking to stop Valpo on their next defensive drive. However, they're on the offensive possession as Shepard drives in. Left-hand layup is no good. Rebound by Valpo's Ben Crookie. Gets it to Edwards as Nick Edwards comes down the floor quickly. Kicks it out. Finds Green. Gets it to Crookie. Top of the free throw line. Tries going under for Green. He's wide open underneath the basket and just floats it in.
Nice control there by Green. Seemed like a little hop step right there. Kind of create that separation.
17:27 left to go. 6-6. We're tied here at the Arc. Three-point attempt for Kate Tyson of Belmont is no good. And so far, we've seen the Bruins take quite a few three-point attempts. Now just 2 of 5. Valpo trying their own three-point attempt. It's good! Maximus Nelson knocks it down.
That's going to be a shot that Nelson's going to have to hit a lot this game in order for the Beacons to have a chance to win this one.
That near side corner has been Maximus Nelson's big impact so far this season. We've really seen it pretty much in every stadium here, even including the Arc. Belmont under control once again. Shepard, top of the key. Tries driving in, free throw line. Steps back, kicks out, finds Freiberg, who then gets it to Tyson. Tyson throws it up, airballs it. Interesting choice by Kate Tyson of Belmont because 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Why throw it up there when you have control of the basketball?
I don't think he understood kind of how much time he still had left in the shot clock, so that could have been something there.
Right.
But one of the better Valpo defensive possessions there, consistently pressuring guys, getting over screens, something they struggled with in the early going here.
Valpo with a 9-6 lead now with the basketball as Crookie's in the left wing. Hands it off, finds Crookie once again as it went to Edwards. Back to Crookie. Takes a jumper, mid-range, no good. Rebound by Keyshawn Davidson of Belmont as he'll come down the floor on the far side.
Nice shot right there created for Crookie.
Davidson, 4-3 once again. That's no good. Quentin Green able to pull in the rebound for the Beacons, and Belmont taking a lot of three-point attempts here early. Valpo's able to stop on him a couple defensive stops as they dish it into Edwards. He puts up a beautiful layup on the reverse, and it's in.
Great start for Nick Edwards, once again being aggressive, driving to the hoop, and using his area of moves to put the ball in the hoop.
Ben Shepard for Belmont dishes it in with a bounce pass, finds Bronze as he's able to get that one up and in off the glass.
Again, not much of a contest there from Valpo. An easy basket once again for Belmont.
Top of the key controlled by Crookie. Tries to go underneath the basket to Nelson as he was coming underneath the hoop. But we're going to take a media timeout. Valpo off to a great start here. 11-8 Beacons lead. 15:29 left to go. We'll be right back here in 90 seconds from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
When you need trusted electrical professionals, who do you turn to? Powering America's team of NECA and IBEW contractors can help. All of our electricians have 10,000 hours of on-the-job and classroom training to ensure the safety of your home or business electrical system. Licensed, bonded, and insured, drug-tested, and background checked. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org for a complete list of contractors, experts in residential, commercial, industrial, voice, data, video, and renewable energy projects. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. Safely powering Northwest Indiana.
Why is Culver such a treat for so many families? Here's a hint. This treat is thick and creamy, and everyone can get it any way they like. Our fresh, frozen custard. We craft it in small batches throughout the day to make our guests stay. Shakes, cones, sundaes, concrete mixers, flavor of the day, oh, and the toppings.
Who says you can't please everyone? There's more than one way to dessert at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Preferred 4-1 over any other orthopedic practice in the region, Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute offers the specialized bone, joint, and muscle care needed to keep you in motion. Our world-class providers serve as the official team physicians for Valparaiso University. and we have proudly delivered specialized, experienced care throughout Northwest Indiana for more than 50 years. To learn more about Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute, visit lbji.com.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Tonight's broadcast of Valpo basketball is brought to you by Culver's. Enjoy the Culver's Deluxe, layered with real Wisconsin cheese, crisp lettuce, ripe tomatoes, pickles, sweet red onion, and our signature mayo. It's on with a lightly buttered toasted bun. It's our butter burger at its best. Welcome to Delicious. I'm Zach Collins sitting alongside James Dorer. And James, before we get back into action here, Belmont, a lot of three-point attempts to start off this game.
Yeah, it seems to be a focal point, trying to take advantage of Valpo's porous defense on the three-point line, but we'll probably see them go more inside after some trays haven't fallen early on.
Ben Shepard already trying to drive inside into the paint. Kicks out, finds Tyson. Now controlled by Gillespie, who then gets it back to Shepard. Right hand attempt on the layup for Shepard. Doesn't go through. Valpo with the rebound. Nick Edwards for Valpo now under control. Left wing. Looks, finds Cricky, top of the key. 15 minutes left to go here. Edwards dishes, tries to find Cricky, almost loses the basketball, kicks out underneath the hoop, finds Edwards, then gets it to Green for three. That's no good, and a good rebound and box out by Cade Tyson of Belmont.
And for Belmont, the threes they have been taking have been open looks, but you'd like to see them drive and just try to get a rhythm going before they start going crazy shooting the three ball here.
Jacoby Gillespie now with the basketball for the Bruins. 15 on the shot clock, drives in. Right side of the charity stripe is no good for Gillespie as he misses that attempt. Down the floor goes to Kobe King, drives in. Blocking foul is going to be called. Beautiful attempt by Kobe King. Belmont just getting right in the way. Kobe King's basket will count. He'll try to finish a three-point play here. Foul's going to be on number 10, Cade Tyson, his first and the team's first.
Fun little tidbit about Kobe King is 9 points away from scoring 1,000 points here tonight, so we could see that happen. Ben Cricky did that earlier this season against Western Michigan. But fun little tidbit here to follow along here.
And King can't finish the three-point play, however. He just heard you say that. You made him a little, antsy on the charity stripe. He's like, oh, man, trying to get to 8 now, but now he's going to stay at the 9 mark. Belmont with the basketball as Keyshawn Davidson controls left wing. Tries driving in at the free throw line. Kicks under. Finds Bellinger. And a foul's going to be called on the interior.
Really nice pass there by Davidson to set up that scoring opportunity for Bellinger. So that, again, it creates the easy opportunity. Looks like it's going to be just a regular foul. Not shooting fouls, but still nice pass there.
Foul ended up being on number 3, Connor Baird of Valpo, his first and the team's first. Belmont looking to inbound underneath the basket. They find Isaiah Walker. Now to Bellinger. Bellinger gets back to Walker, who hands it off to Davidson left wing. Top of the key, back to Walker. Back to Davidson left wing. Drives in. Goes to the charity stripe. Loses control of the basketball, and a steal for the Beacons. Goes down to Ibra Bayou. Goes down the floor. Tries going up. Gets blocked away. Beautiful block for Belmont. Number 11, Michael Shanks, getting the hand on the ball. Man, he came down the floor like an all-out 100-meter dash sprint.
Oh, he absolutely did. And you saw the Valpo fans, everyone stand up. We've seen Ibra Bayou have some highlight dunks. So everybody in the crowd was excited for a thunderous slam there by Ibra Bayou.
Unfortunately, he's not able to get it. Valpo does maintain the possession here as the inbound goes to Bayou. Now controlled by Diavero. Goes near corner to Bayou. Kicks into Cricky, right wing. Cricky comes out, tries handing off to Darius Diavero, almost taken away by the Bruins. Nice job by Michael Shanks to get a hand in there. And, Michael Shanks doesn't average too many points on the floor, 2.1 points per game, and the same with rebounds, 2.1, but he has a good defensive presence.
Absolutely. Really able to move his feet well, able to switch on to multiple guys. Again, helps you to get minutes and playing time when you're able to do that.
8 on the shot clock, now 7. Diavero bounce pass goes to Cricky, top of the key. Valpo's going to have to take up a shot here. 3 on the shot clock, 2. Diavero controls 1 on the shot clock. Doesn't look like he got it off on time. And a shot clock violation by the Beacons. They're first of this competition tonight.
Again, great defense there by Belmont. And one of the things Belmont is trying to do is trying to keep Cricky off of his spots, not letting him get in the low block, which is where Cricky really thrives, making him catch it outside the charity stripe.
13-8 the score, 13-15 left to go here in this first half. Belmont with the basketball. Shanks goes down the key for Bronze. Hands it off, finds Davidson, rolls right. Step back for the mid-range jumper is good by Keyshawn Davidson. 13-10, now your score, Valpo up by 3.
And again, if you're Valpo, you got to live with that type of shot. That's the type of shot you can live with there. Not a bad defensive possession there.
Quirky attempts with the drive-in takeaway by Michael Shanks. Once again, passes, goes up for the attempt. Bellinger gets fouled. He falls to the floor hard. He's actually holding that right hand for just a second. Now he's not anymore. Must have just hurt on the impact for a second. Didn't anymore. Foul, I believe, is going to be on number 12 of the Beacons, Ibrahim, and it will be. It'll be his first and the team's second.
Really nice drive there, trying to set something up, using the contact well, almost finishes it. Nice play there.
E.J. Ballinger to the line, makes the first. Came into this game 11 of 13. Now he's 12 of 14, shooting 84.6% on the season. Goes up, puts up the second, knocks that one in. We got a 1-point lead for the Beacons. Valpo's trying to maintain their lead here as they started off hot. Now they're starting to dwindle down just a little bit. Player getting knocked down on the floor. Wow. Davidson fell down to the floor. Matt Lonick unhappy with the situation overall. Officials are going to go to the scores table here and look it over. I mean, really, we just inbounded the ball. I looked down at the spot chart for just a second, and I looked back up. Someone's knocked on the floor, and Matt Lonick's got his hands up. I mean, James, just break down what you saw overall.
I mean, to be honest with you, just saw Bayou trying to move by him, and he fell down. Kind of seemed like a typical basketball play. Kind of surprised it was called a foul, to be honest. I'm not really sure what they're going over the scores table unless something was said in that exchange. That we cannot be privy to, but, yeah, not really sure. Very odd interaction right there. But I was just going to say about Valpo, I mean, you got to be pleased. You know, they got off to a quick start. We're not starting off 11-0 run, 12-0 run. Like, when you start a game in a hole, it's almost impossible to claw out of, especially when defense is not your strong suit. Let's be honest. So I think it's key for Valpo is that they can keep this kind of pace going. For them, they can score with most teams in the Valley. But again, their defense has been a little bit better here in the early going. Let's hope that continues. See if we can get some more clarity on this situation here, too. Looks like it's a common foul.
It's a common foul. It's going to be an offensive foul on Ibra Bayou. It's going to be his second and the team's third, so we'll hope that Valpo's defense can make an impact here as Belmont gets a takeaway. D'Avero coming down the floor for Valpo. Goes up right-hand layup, gets fouled in the attempt. They'll go to the line for two. He came down to the floor. He's kind of rocking. Hold on to that left hip.
That's not a good sign for Valpo as they've already lost Rudinger for most of this season as well. D'Averio, really nice defensive play there to come up with the steal. Came right over on that trap. And then on the steal, took the ball down the floor for that layup.
Actually, it looked like he was holding his hip from the angle for a second. Now he's actually holding that left kneecap. Must have came down hard on it. And, I mean, we've seen Darius D'Avero do that plenty of times in the season. He's already been injured and only had a few games impacted on the season. But, I mean, D'Avero, like we even mentioned in the pregame, not the guy who's going to get you the most points on the board, but he's the guy who's going to play good offense, dish it out, get some assists, put on the stat sheet. Could be a big impact. Ibra Bayou over there just kind of looking over his teammate. 13-12, your score, 12:32 left to go here in this first half. And, I mean, James, Valpo, 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes and 24 seconds for this Beacons team. They started off real hot. They're kind of allowing Belmont to come back into it just a little bit. The Bruins only shooting at 33%, Valpo at 55%. What's been the impact so far in this game for the Beacons?
I think as you brought up the turnovers, the lack of carelessness with the ball and kind of letting Belmont come into the game. But if you're Valpo, you got to be pleased as you've been able to, again, shoot 55% from the field. And, you know, Nick Edward, your point guard, has had a hot start to the game. But, again, D'Avero, a guy that plays good defense, and one of the reasons why he gets the minutes he does is because of his defensive presence and ability to play on that side of the ball.
And Darius D'Avero not putting any pressure on that right leg at all, actually being carried off by the trainer as well. as number 15, Luke Morrill, as he's being helped off of the floor. Man, I mean, that's a big impact for Darius Diavero as he'll head over to the locker room. And Ibra Bayou will go and shoot free throws for Diavero. Misses the first attempt. Nick Edwards checking in for the Beacons in place of Darius Diavero. We'll try to keep you updated with his injury status as well as what we know throughout the competition. Bayou makes the second, splits the pair, 14-12. Valpo's up by 2 here. 12:32 left to go. Belmont now bringing the basketball down the floor as Davidson pulls over near side. Now drives in at the Valley logo. Kicks out, finds Ballinger. Goes right wing, finds Shanks. Shanks under control. Tries to drive it in, dribbles in between his legs, kicks out. Now top of the key, control by E.J. Ballinger. Bronze rolls right. Hands off, finds Davidson. Charity stripe, kicks out, finds Ballinger. Top of the key, puts up a shot with 3 left on the shot clock and a rebound by Nick Edwards. Good defensive possession for the Beacons.
Being able to get over the top of screens is going to be the key for the Beacons to be able to be successful on defense tonight.
Edwards, top of the key, kicks, right side, finds Cricky. In the middle of the paint, kicks out, finds Edwards, almost taken away by the Bruins. Kicks, finds Barrett, tries to go drive in, loses possession of the basketball, picked up by Davidson of Belmont. He'll cross the timeline quickly, pulls up a three-pointer, top of the key, it's through and in.
Seemed like a defensive breakdown right there as Ibra Bayou left him open just for a sec. Davidson open for a second there, allows him the open look for an easy three-pointer for Belmont.
Belmont just 3 of their last 11. Valpo hasn't scored in the last 3 minutes. Valpo's looking for an answer here. It's controlled by Bayou on the left wing. Hands off to Cricky. Cricky tries driving into the left block. Kicks out, finds Quentin Green, top of the key, 8 on the shot clock. Hands off to Cricky. Drives in, pulls up, mid-range. Jumper is no good. However, Bayou puts a hand in there. Players fall to the floor. Belmont gets a possession as they get it to Walker. Taken away, however, by Quentin Green on the pass attempt by Walker. Edwards looks in, finds Cricky, gets stripped away on the attempt of the shot, and goes out of bounds as it was last touched by E.J. Ballinger of Belmont, which will lead us to a media timeout, and one that probably both of these teams absolutely would love to have. 14-15, Belmont up by 1, 10:50 left to go. We're going to be right back here from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
There are sports bars everywhere these days, but there's only one place for award-winning jumbo wings, bigger beers, and better food and drink values all week long. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. We're so much more than wings. Enjoy wraps, salads, subs, seafoods, quesadillas, amazing appetizers, and awesome daily lunch food and drink specials. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub at 501 North Silhavy in Valparaiso and online at wingsetc.com.
TicketSmarter is glad we are back to holding live events. If you are looking to buy tickets to the best sports, concerts, and theater events, all at the very best price, look no further than TicketSmarter.com or on the app. Buying tickets at TicketSmarter will help support children in need. For every ticket transaction on TicketSmarter, $1 will be donated to a children's charity. TicketSmarter is proud to be the official ticketing partner of bowl season. TicketSmarter, a smarter way to buy tickets.
It begins here. The State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship hits the hardwood at Enterprise Center March 2nd through 5th in St. Louis. Don't miss any of the action as 12 Missouri Valley teams battle for an automatic NCAA berth. Arch Madness, presented by Valley Sports Indiana and Great Southern Bank. For tickets, call 219-464-5233. That's 219-464-5233 or visit archmadness.com.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Arch Madness tips off March 2nd through the 5th in St. Louis, and the MVC Fan Hangout at Ballpark Village is the best place to celebrate before and after games. Visit the MVC Fan Hangout to enjoy Ballpark Village restaurants, entertainment, and everything Arch Madness. For more information, visit archmadness.com/download. Get the Arch Madness app on your phone for all the Valley action. Your score, Belmont 15, Valpo 14, 10:50 left to go. I'm Zach Allen sitting alongside James Dorer. James, Valpo's defense has kind of stepped it down over the last course of the 5 minutes. Their offense also stepped down a lot. 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes, 36 seconds. What does Valpo have to do better throughout the remainder of this first half?
I think they need to change up their defensive schemes. I think you can't keep giving Belmont the same looks as they're clearly trying to take advantage of them in the pick and roll, pick and fade game. So it's been hard for Valpo to get over screens. And I think offensively, you got to try to feed it into Cricky. Try to get him out of those double teams because they're clearly trapping him whenever he gets the ball in the post.
Valpo going to inbound here as it was last knocked out of bounds. 20 seconds on the shot clock as Edwards dribbles top of the key. Receives a screen up top by Hedstrom. Kicks out. 3-point attempt for the Beacons is good by Maximus Nelson.
One of the guys checked into the game, Joe Hedstrom, a guy that's getting more minutes, probably the earliest we've seen him. Really nice to see for the Beacons from Wisconsin. Guy that's probably would have liked to see more minutes but been taking advantage of the minutes he does get.
Sharks dishes, beautiful pass, goes to Derek Saban as he knocks that one up and in. 17 all for both of these teams. And as you mentioned, Hedstrom on the floor, he has the basketball, gets a pass to other Wisconsin native, Kobe King. Tries looking in, top of the key, kicks left side, finds Quentin Green. Kicks in, finds Hedstrom, tries to go down the floor to Green. Pass just a little bit too high for Quentin Green and goes out of bounds. Jacoby Gillespie also is going to be checking in here for Belmont. 17 all, your score, 10:02 left to go here in the first half.
Yeah, not a bad offensive possession there. Hedstrom trying to get Green set up there. You can live with turnovers like that. And again, those are turnovers you can live with. Can't be careless with the basketball, but
3-point attempt for Gillespie is good for Belmont. And man, Valpo, like you mentioned, James, got to change their defensive strategy here. That definitely shows right there on that 3-point attempt as he's basically wide open.
Yeah, those are killers right there. Wide open threes will lose you ball games as Valpo seems to struggle to get over screens.
Edwards drove in, tried the left-handed attempt on the layup side. Wasn't able to knock it in. It looks like Belmont had a touch on it, possibly affecting his shot attempt. Gillespie, another 3-point attempt, top of the key for Belmont. That's no good. Rebound pulled in by Joe Hedstrom. Looked for Kobe King, wasn't looking for a second. Able to pick up his dribble, come down the floor. He's on the far side. Kicks, top of the key, finds Edwards. Green, right wing, 3-point attempt is no good as it's a rebound by E.J. Ballinger of the Bruins. He comes down the floor quickly, spins in the paint. That's good. Inner circle, 2-point attempt for E.J. Ballinger. 22-17, Belmont leads, 9 under left to go.
Surprised Belmont hasn't gone to the paint more often, and also on the defensive side of the ball, Belmont clearly read the scouting report, leaving Valpo open to shoot threes and not allowing them to work it in the post where they've been most successful.
We'll see if Valpo can get a successful drive here. 10 on the shot clock as they get it to Hedstrom. Kicks, finds King, right wing, 3-pointer, airballs the attempt. Wasn't look like it was touched, just a forced shot. Probably could have taken a better shot, had a couple seconds left on the shot clock, just put that attempt up. Ballinger drives in on the attempt, that's no good, blocked away, kicks out, finds Gillespie. Right wing and then far side, now controlled by E.J. Ballinger. Bounce pass to Gillespie, drives in, right hand attempt, that's good as he falls to the floor. And a timeout's going to be taken by Matt Loddick. It'll be a full immediate timeout, and we'll take it with 17, Valpo, 24, Belmont, 8:11 left to go here in the first half. We're going to take a 90-second break. We'll be right back here from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
You've trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Birthday parties, vacations, family reunions. We've all had to postpone important activities, but taking care of your health isn't something you should put off. Wellness visits and screenings can identify health issues in the earliest stages when they're most treatable. And Northwest Medical Group is taking extra precautions to provide a safe and clean environment. We're committed to helping you stay well, and we offer both telehealth and in-person visits. Schedule an appointment today at mycarenorthwesthealth.com.
One meal everyone in your family can get on board with? It's Culver's. You may know us for our famous butter burgers, cooked to order for that great signature steak taste, but we're also known for our whole white meat chicken tenders and juicy chicken sandwiches, and our melty Wisconsin cheese curds, and our hand-battered North Atlantic cod.
At Culver's, we believe more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. Welcome to Delicious.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com, you're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Hey, Valpo sports fans, Wings Etc. Grill and Pub located at 501 North Silhavy and East Chicago Street has lunch specials featuring wings, burgers, wraps, rib tips, and more at amazing lunch prices. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Stop by and visit them today. Can't dine in? Order online at togo.wingsetc.com. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub in Valparaiso. If you're just joining us back here, Belmont currently with the lead, 24-17 over Valparaiso. I'm Zach Collins sitting alongside James Dorer. And James, really, how's Belmont been able to come back within this and continue with their lead?
They're starting to go in the paint, which is something we were kind of surprised they didn't do sooner. Being able to generate quality looks. Also have been playing better defense after Valpo got off to that hot start. So after that, 15 minutes left in the first. Yep. Valpo's really struggling to score as they've only put up 4 minutes since that 15-minute mark in the first.
We'll see if Valpo's able to get a scoring drive here. As Cricky drives in, puts up the left-hand floater. That's no good. Rebound by Derek Sabin of Belmont.
If you just look at the box score, you'll ask why has Cricky not been more aggressive, but Belmont has made a clear point at stopping Cricky and trapping him anytime he gets the ball in the low block.
Gets double-teamed just about every time in the lower block, and that's because that zone defense, as you mentioned before. We'll see what Valpo does here on their defense side. Gillespie now kicks inside. Beautiful attempt for Derek Sabin as he puts that one up and off the glass, and it's good.
Great ball movement right there, all within the paint right there. Something that's been a key to Belmont getting on this run that they're getting on.
I mean, it's that inner circle action that really has kept Belmont in this one. They're currently on an 11-0 run over the Beacons. Valpo hasn't scored in just about 3 minutes. This has been a big thing we've seen of Valpo. As Quentin Green puts up a three-point attempt, airballs that attempt. We'll see if Matt Loddick makes a change. 26-17 is your score here as the Bruins currently lead the Beacons. 7:13 left to go. Man, not a good attempt, not really a good look either by Quentin Green. He was pretty heavily defended by Belmont on that attempt.
No, not at all. And one of the things we've also seen is Valpo's bench play not being able to help the team out. There seems to be a drop-off in production when they go to that bench.
Valpo able to maintain the basketball as it was just knocked out of bounds. I mean, bench points in the comparison, Belmont's had 13, Valpo's only put up 1. So, I mean, a big difference there. Belmont now with the basketball as Freiberg tries kicking out. Far side in the corner. Controlled now by Tyson. He spins in the paint. Inner circle gets blocked away, but the foul's going to be called on Maximus Nelson. Probably made hand contact. That'll be his. Wow, they're actually going to put it on Ben Cricky. I'm actually interested why.
As am I.
Because he didn't swing, but we're gonna give it to him anyway. His first, team's fourth. At the line now is number 10, Cade Tyson. Coming into this game, shooting 87% from the charity stripe. Connor Barrett will check in for the Beacons, in for Kobe King. Tyson out of Monroe, North Carolina, coming into this competition, shooting 44% from the field. Good player for this Bruins team as he makes them both. Averages 13.4 points per game. For whatever reason, after that, Maximus Nelson fell down to the floor. Couldn't tell you why. He really didn't receive too much of a push, enough to fall to the floor, but does regardless. 28-17, Valpo down by 11. 16-3 run for the Bruins over the last 5 minutes of play. Edwards tries kicking to get Cricky. Barrett able to pick that one up after the miscommunication. Hands off to Nelson, top of the key. Bounce pass left wing for Cricky. Drives in on the attempt. Inner circle. Cricky puts it up after he's double teamed. It's no good. Belmont with the rebound as Jacoby Gillespie comes down the floor. Now controlled here by Freiberg. Kicks out Gillespie. Top of the key. Now driving in is Shepard. Kicks out. Finds Tyson. Drives into the paint. Inner circle. Falls in good on the float attempt.
Again, not settling for that open three-point shot, driving it in the paint and getting a quality look right there. Nice offensive possession there for Belmont.
30-17, Bruins lead. Under 6 left to go. Connor Barrett for 3, near side corner, no good. Rebound by the Bruins. Jacoby Gillespie, top of the key. Receives the screen, kicks out, finds Shepard. Now gets it to Bronze. Bronze drives in, kicks out Shepard, near side in the corner. Left block now controlled by Bronze. Guarded by Cricky. Spins, puts up the left hand off the glass. Just rolls around the rim, no good. Good defense by the Beacons, able to keep him pushed out. Didn't allow him in that inner circle.
Very nice. And if I'm the Beacons here on offense, I'm looking to set up a play for Cricky. Not really had an open look, trying to get him in rhythm as this team goes with Cricky, as he's the true focal point of this team.
The focal point actually losing control of the basketball. Gillespie with the steal. He drives down the floor, puts up the float on the attempt, falls in, and it's good. Matt Loddick's going to take a timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay with you here. Valpo's going to be left with just 2 timeouts in this competition. They've had a waste, really, too. And Belmont just on a huge run here over the Beacons. 17-0 run over the last 5 minutes for Belmont. I mean, Valpo started off this game very well. I mean, really, really well in the first early 5 minutes of the competition. In the last 10 minutes, it's just been a brutal dagger right to the heart.
Absolutely, and it's hard to win games this way, as once again, the Beacons are putting themselves in a hole. When defense is not your calling card, you can't afford to give up 17-0 runs. And for Belmont, what's really been the key is for them is being able to drive in the paint, being able to get easy looks inside, great ball movement. But I think once again for the Beacons, once again a consistent theme all season has been their lack of bench production. As we brought up earlier, only 1 point scored tonight from their bench.
Right.
I mean, that's just not going to get it done.
Right. And, I mean, Valpo's gone 1 of the last 10. They're trying to continue to go on the inside. But if it hasn't worked for the last 4 times, why try it 4 times more is my question. Valpo now with the basketball. 5 minutes left to go. Nick Edwards controls top of the key. Looks left, finds King. He drives in, goes cross court. Right-hand attempt, gets fouled. Don't know if it's on the floor. Whistle was early. Looks like he will be going to the line for 2. Foul's going to be on number 10, Cade Tyson, his second, and the team's third of the first half. 32-17, 4:54 left to go here in the first. King knocks down his first attempt.
And again, for Valpo to be successful, I think they need to slow down the pace of the game. Because right now, they're not a running gun type team to play with.
Right.
And for them to be able to win is they need to muddy up the game, play a slower paced game, and try to slow down this tempo.
King knocks them both down. Finally ends Valpo's scoring drought, but not in terms of field goals, as Belmont now controls the basketball. Bronze, top of the key, bounce pass, right wing, driving in as Shepard, kicks out underneath the basket, finds Vanderjagt, finally gets it back to Ben Shepard. Charity Stripe drives in, right block, gets double team underneath, kicks out, 3-point attempt for Belmont is no good. That's by Drew Freiberg. Good defensive presence by the Beacons. Edwards now under control. Kicks right side for Cricky. Puts up a pump fake. Goes cross court. Finds King. Drives in. Left side. Gets blocked on the attempt. Foul called. Late foul whistle call by the official. But Kobe King will be going to the line once again.
We're talking about Kobe King, a guy that's really improved his free throw shooting this season. He's shooting 78% from the line after in the previous two seasons, shooting in the 60%. So something that's really increased for him. And as we talked about earlier in the game, we'll talk about that 1,000-point. Came into this game needing only 11 points, now just needs just 6 to cross that 1,000-point threshold for his college career.
You spoiled it a little bit. He made his first. I mean, he gave the fans a little bit of an inside look. Made the second. I mean, wow, we're giving a little bit of insight, James, up here. 21-32, Valpo down by 11. They're 1 of the last 10 from the field. They're looking to get a field goal after this attempt by Belmont. Controlled now by Cade Tyson, left wing. Goes top of the key, finds Shepard. Shepard rolls to the right, drives in, mid-range, jumper is good. Nothing but net for Ben Shepard. Valpo going down the floor quickly, try to find Cricky, and the Butterfingers keep up with him as he's not able to receive that pass attempt. We're going to head to a immediate timeout here. We're going to be right back. Belmont 34, Valpo 21. From Van Wagner, this is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
are sports bars everywhere these days, but there's only one place for award-winning jumbo wings, bigger beers, and better food and drink values all week long. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. We're so much more than wings. Enjoy wraps, salads, subs, seafoods, quesadillas, amazing appetizers, and awesome daily lunch food and drink specials. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub at 501 North Silhavy in Valparaiso and online at wingsetc.com.
Ticket Smarter is glad we are back to holding live events. If you are looking to buy tickets to the best sports, concerts, and theater events, all at the very best price, look no further than Ticketsmarter.com or on the app. Buying tickets at Ticketsmarter will help support children in need. For every ticket transaction on Ticketsmarter, $1 will be donated to a children's charity. Ticketsmarter is proud to be the official ticketing partner of bowl season. Ticketsmarter, a smarter way to buy tickets.
Preferred 4-1 over any other orthopedic practice in the region, Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute offers the specialized bone, joint, and muscle care needed to keep you in motion. Our world-class providers serve as the official team physicians for Valparaiso University, and we have proudly delivered specialized, experienced care throughout Northwest Indiana for more than 50 years. To learn more about Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute, visit lbji.com.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com, you're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. The Missouri Valley Conference is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX legislation. Throughout the academic year, the Valley is honoring pioneers from league institutions who paved the way for current and future student athletes. To learn more about the conference's Title IX recognition plans, visit MVC-sports.com/Title 950. I'm Zach Collins, sitting alongside James Dorer. You're listening to WVUR 95.1 FM, the Valpo Sports Radio Network. James, Valpo has had no field goals in over 7 minutes of play. How is that possible on Valpo's end?
I think, again, we're seeing a lot of the same actions. We're not seeing Cricky being able to move around a lot. He seems to be stuck in that low left block, and it's kind of been frustrating just watching the game, as Cricky is a guy that can shoot the ball. He's, not a great shooter, but for a big man, a guy that can shoot the open look. So need to get him more involved in this game.
We'll see how he becomes more involved. He's a very athletic player on the floor. He is the big man on the floor, but he does move very well on their offensive end as well as their defensive end, as Belmont, Evan Bronze is under control. Kicks it, finds Bellinger, tries to drive it in, kicks back out to Freiberg. Now controlled by Belmont's Vanderjagt. Vanderjagt for two, mid-range, no good. Close to the free throw line, and a rebound by Connor Bear. Edwards coming down the floor quickly, kicks it to Green, tries to go under for Valpo's Green. Rebound by Ben Cricky underneath, gets knocked, goes out of bounds. Valpo's able to maintain the basketball. That's a good offensive possession. They attempted twice to put that ball back up. Cricky able to get a rebound, trying with the post move to go up, wasn't able to get it in.
And I think the key is you're not asking guys to create their own shot every single possession.
Right.
I mean, you got to get guys in a rhythm and be able to help them out in terms of starting a scoring run here.
Edwards' right hand attempt is good, and that ends Valpo's no field goals. They went 7 minutes and 32 seconds without a field goal. Finally ended by Nick Edwards on that attempt. 34-23. Belmont leads. 3-point attempt by the Bruins is no good. And a rebound for Quentin Green. Pass down low, goes to King. Drives in, no good. Blocked twice. Tries to put up a third attempt, and blocked once again. Belmont with some beautiful defense on the last three attempts. Ben Stafford down low, kicks out, finds Bronze. Drives in, charity strike, kicks out. Goes to Freiberg, left wing. He's looking in. Foul goes. It's going to be on Valpo's Connor Barrett. Fans not liking that foul call. They thought it was on number 4, Kyler Vanderjagt. It'll be Barrett's second and the team's 5th. Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick tempo, James. I mean, you can't say anything about that. What's been the issue?
I'd say, once again, the tempo. I mean, Valpo's just not built to play a running gun game. And you talk about the foul there on Connor Barrett. You lost Diavero. You've already lost Rudinger. Again, you can't afford to get into foul trouble in the guard play here, as Valpo is really limited in terms of who they can play in terms of their depth.
Gillespie, left block, bounce pass, finds a man, and that's Michael Shanks as he floats it in.
Once again, an all too common theme tonight has been Belmont's ability to get very open looks, whether that be inside or outside, which has really struggled to keep Valpo in this game.
Under 2 minutes left to go. Connor Barrett of Valpo on the left wing controls the basketball. Goes to Kricky, top of the key. 36-23, Belmont leads by 13. Kricky tries looking in, spins, finds Barrett, left wing, goes to King, center of the floor. Back to Kricky, 7 on the shot clock. Finds Edwards, now 5. Drives in, bounce pass, finds Barrett underneath the hoop, and a beautiful dish and score. Connor Barrett able to knock that one in.
Really nice pass there to set up the easy opportunity for Connor Barrett by Nick Edwards. Nice to see some movement there by the Beacons, creating that easy opportunity.
Gillespie now controls as he gets to Davidson, left wing. Valpo now looking for a defensive stop after that beautiful score for Connor Barrett. Down low, Shanks puts up a shot, tries with the floater, misses the attempt, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Frank Jevoksek. 36-25, 103 left to go. Valpo's going to bring in a sub. Number 13, Maximus Nelson, back into the competition for Connor Barrett. James, I mean, really going into halftime, you want Valpo to score, make this in single digits, and allow Belmont on the next possession not to score. I mean, that's the biggest outlook you could look for here.
Yeah, I think you look for a 2-for-1 scoring opportunity here if you're Valpo. And try to get an open look right here, quickly generate, and try to get some momentum going in the second half.
Kricky with the attempt in the end one. Drives in, it will knock it in. Haven't seen that too much on that left block, as it's been very good defense from Belmont on that left block. Kricky finally going, you know what? I know how your defense works on the left block. I'm just going to drive in, get this one, and get fouled at the same time. You know, put the dagger in just a little bit more, turn it a little bit.
Really nice. Late rotation there by Belmont sets up that opportunity, but Kricky, way to finish through contact. A big, strong guy that's able to work through multiple defenders and able to put up a nice basket there and gives them an opportunity for that 2-for-1 scoring opportunity here. Nice job by Kricky to set that up.
There's a chance really for 49.6 seconds left to go. 2 offensive possessions by both of these teams as Kricky finishes off the three-point play. Now just an 8-point lead for the Bruins. Kricky checks out. Bayou checks in. Kricky will sit out for the remainder of this first half as Belmont controls the basketball. Gillespie, drive, stops, jumper, no good. Connor Barrett with the rebound. 40 seconds left to go. Shot clock, game clock separated by 11 seconds.
Tough shot there by Gillespie, trying to generate an open look. Once again, good defense by the Beacons, contesting shots. Good to see here as we close out the first half, trying to build some momentum.
I think you and I both paused as we saw Edwards pass. I didn't even see Quentin Green in the far side corner. I had thought he was going to a player of Bayou ahead. King looks, finds Bayou as he slams it down. Ibra Bayou flushes it in, and Belmont's going to take a timeout.
Big play there by Ibra Bayou. Big play there. Brings the Beacons within 6, which you can't be happier with as you go into this halftime, building some momentum. Really nice finish to this first half. And once again, the frustrating part is you see flashes of great potential by this Beacon team, and that gives you hope for, you know, the record doesn't necessarily reflect the team that's out there. As again, they play way above their 6-11, 0-6, you know, record as a team that's right now playing with the top 3 team in the Valley.
And I mean, Valpo, for the longest stretch of time, over 7 minutes and 30 seconds, did not get a field goal. And at the same time, Belmont went on a 17-0 run in 5 minutes of play, then a 20-3 run over 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and Valpo's got it within 6 now. I mean, that just shows you that Valpo's able to come back within games. They create a hole, and they're trying to fill it right now. That hole just needs 6 more points to be shoved right into it to tie things up. And I mean, really, James, it's been just done by the works of the collective offense. It's not even like one player has fully stood out on this Valpo team, as we're just seeing numbers all across the board so far for the Beacons.
Absolutely. And again, their defense has set that up, is they've been able to limit Belmont to only 4 points since the 5-12 mark, which really helps them being able to set them up for success here as they try to close that gap.
They reset the game clock to 13 seconds with now just 6 remaining. Gillespie drives in. It's blocked away by Bayou. They're going to call it a goaltending violation by Ibra Bayou. That one's going to count. Didn't get up in time. He also didn't make it look any cleaner as he hit it into the basket, into the rim itself. So that, of course, is going to be called for goaltending by Ibra Bayou.
Not necessarily. When the head coach isn't even arguing with the official, you know it's a pretty easy call there.
Right. I mean, usually if you typically see the coach of the opposing team go, oh my gosh, and come onto the floor, then you know it's a bit different situation. In that case, you knew. I mean, you could see it from space almost, and you might know. Edwards gets the inbound, comes down the floor, gets fouled by Gillespie. 2 seconds left in the game clock. That'll be Jacoby Gillespie's first. The team's 6 of the first half.
Surprised they're fouling here, especially with the opportunity of getting a shooting foul, which you don't want to do if you're Belmont, is foul somebody behind the three-point line and give up 3 easy free throws.
It's also interesting Belmont called the timeout with just 13 seconds left to go. Inbound goes to King. 3-point attempt, no good. Bricks off the back of the rim, doesn't fall in. But Valpo able to come out of a hole. They're just down by 8 here at the end of the first half. 38-30, your score. Belmont leads here. We're going to take a 2-minute break and be right back here for our halftime show to break down the whole first half of this competition. We'll be right back from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor, as he does everything to make
my yard look as beautiful as I possibly can.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Experience all that John Deere has to offer at Castonia Tractor. Visit us online at castrac.com, castrac.com.
When you need trusted electrical professionals, who do you turn to? Powering America's team of NECA and IBEW contractors can help. All of our electricians have 10,000 hours of on-the-job and classroom training to ensure the safety of your home or business electrical system. Licensed, bonded, and insured, drug-tested, and background checked. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org for a complete list of contractors, experts in residential, commercial, industrial, voice, data, video, and renewable energy projects. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. Safely powering Northwest Indiana.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of Hungry Howie's hot, real mozzarella cheese melting over a bed of dough made fresh today. And flavored crust loaded with any combination of our mouth-watering flavored crust flavors. You probably didn't think Irresistible had a sound. Well, it does now. Now get a meal deal for any budget starting at the irresistible price of just $5.99.
Hungry Howie's. There's no need to fear. The First Source Bank mobile app is here. As fast as a mobile deposit. Built to pay bills instantaneously. Powered to balance budgets. And with a simple tap, a call is placed for that personal touch. All this power is disguised as a mild-mannered app on your phone, ready to fight for your financial freedom.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURthesource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. The Arch Madness app, presented by Great Southern Bank, is the official app of the 2023 State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament. The app has all the information you need to plan your trip to St. Louis, including the tournament schedule, tickets, and special events during Arch Madness. Download the Arch Madness app on your Android or iOS device tonight. Welcome here to our halftime show, which of course is brought to you by IBEW and the Powering America team of Northwest Indiana. I'm Zach Allen, sitting alongside James Dorer. And James, of course, let's just look into the first half stats for both of these teams, starting with the leading team in this competition. That's Belmont. If you're just joining us here, your score 38-30. The Bruins lead over the Beacons. They're currently shooting 46.9% overall from the field, from 3, 33.3%. That's pretty much average for just about any team. And 4-4 for the Charity Stripe. They are led in scoring by number 2, Jacoby Gillespie. Currently has 9 points so far for this Bruins team, putting up 2 assists as well. Sitting right behind him, number 22, Ben Shepard. He's got 5 points, 1 assist, and 1 rebound. Sitting behind both of them is number 5, E.J. Ballinger with 4 points and 2 rebounds. Also with 4 points, number 10, Cade Tyson. Sitting right behind him, number 12, Drew Freiberg with 3 points and 1 rebound. Also, sitting at 5 points a player, I actually missed looking at the stat sheet as well. Number 3, Keyshawn Davidson. He's got 5 points and 1 rebound so far here in this competition. 2 players with 2 points. We've got number 0, Evan Bronze, as well as number 11, Michael Shanks. And a couple players who played but did not score for the Bruins. Number 25, Frank Jubicek. Number 11, Isaiah Walker. And number 4, Kyler Vanderjet. And, James, overall in this competition, we've seen Belmont play a heck of a good first half. At one point, they were on a 20-3 run over 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And really, Valpo's defense, we didn't see them step up too high. We really didn't see them take that extra step up. It's like when you're on the stairs and you skip a step. Valpo didn't even skip a step. They didn't even go up the first step. They just kind of were like, getting to the second step and went, oh, man, my knee hurts. I don't want to go up the next step. Really, what's been the aspect of Valpo's defense that's hurt them so far here in this first half?
I think the number of open looks, again, I think that 4 for 12 for Belmont in the first half is a little bit misleading as they shot. There's a lot of open looks that they just flat out missed, and right. I expect Belmont to capitalize more on those in the second half. And I guess the other part I will say is they don't really seem to be changing up their defensive schemes very often. As it seems they're struggling to get over picks. A lot of backdoor cuts run by Belmont, so seem to be struggling with the movement. Again, wouldn't be surprised if Valpo went to hopefully either a 3-2 zone and a 2-3 zone, mixing it up a little bit. Again, forcing Belmont to shoot those mid-range shots, which is something they've struggled to do today, as they've either gotten their points exclusively from the paint or from the three-point line.
And we saw Belmont start off the first half really just 3-point, and it just seemed like the rest of the game was going to be that. However, after the first media timeout, they just came off running. It was just guns blazing, driving into the basket every single time. It was that inner circle action that really allowed them to put up such a big run, 23 run. Valpo's been able to come back as the score is 38-30. Beacon's down by 8 here at the half, but overall, just looking at it, Valpo's able to come back within this one, and that's just because of the likeness of their shooting down low, their power play, and they kind of matched Belmont in terms of that game energy. They started off this game, pretty good in the first 5 minutes. It dwindled for 10 minutes straight. It was just, poor execution by the Beacons on the offensive end, and even on that defensive side, like you mentioned, they haven't changed the defensive side this entire game. It's been a man-to-man offense, really just switching off if they get a screen up top. It hasn't been a zone. Valpo's not, typically a big zone team when you see them on the field, not on the court, not on the field. I looked at you and thought football for a sec. But overall, we've just seen Belmont really drive in on their offensive possessions, and they're able to really execute on those possessions, and that's because of Valpo's defense.
Absolutely, and I think the other point to bring up as well is the bench scoring. For Belmont, they've had 19 points off the bench compared to Valpo's 5, and when your second unit is not contributing little to much at all, it's going to be a struggle for you to win games like this, especially in games where you're the underdog. That's where your depth and your bench really has to come into play, but that's something that's been a struggle for Valpo. And again, with the loss of DeVario, again, a quality bench player, a guy that plays some big minutes for Valpo, you're really going to have to rely more on Nick Edwards and Quentin Green for this Beacons lineup.
And looking into the Beacons in the first half, they shot 37.9% from the field, went 11 of 29, 2 of 9 from 3, 22.2%, and 6 of 8 from the free throw mark at 75%. Beacons are led in scoring by 3 players, all with 6 points. That's number 35, Kobe King, number 5, Nick Edwards, and number 13, Maximus Nelson. And out of those, Nick Edwards also leads in rebounding, and Connor Barrett also puts up a couple rebounds with 3 as well. He's got 2 points. Looking at a couple of other players on the floor, Ibra Bayou's had 3 points, 1 of 2 from the field, has not had any rebounds, and just 1 turnover and 1 steal for Bayou in this game. couple of other players who scored. Number 14, Quentin Green, he's put up 2 points as well. Number 23, Ben Cricky, 5 points and 4 rebounds with 3 assists in this competition. Cricky struggled down low, but that really isn't his fault. We'll get into that here just shortly. Number 14, Quentin Green, also putting up 2 points, 1 assist from the field. And number 4, Darius Ciavera goes out with injury, did not score his time on the floor. Number 32, Joe Hedstrom, seeing some time on the floor, did not get any points either. And really, their offense just wasn't executing on their end. They allowed 8 turnovers in the first half. Belmont just allowing 3. Turnovers were a really big aspect. They went 4 possessions in a row on turnovers. It was just turnover for this Beacons team. And really, I mean, the turnover ratio has been adapted by Ben Cricky. But the thing is, for Cricky, when he gets down low, it's hard for him to control that basketball. Especially when you get, double, triple team down low underneath the left block. What does Valpo have to do differently offensively coming into the second half?
I think you have to create easy open looks for him. Again, for most of the game, Cricky's been mostly stationary, and the action's being ran through him where they're trying to get him the ball in the low block to either post up or to find the open shooter. But again, when you're not a three-point shooting team like Valpo, again, as they shot 22%, 2 for 9, you're not going to be able to run your offense that way.
Right.
And Cricky's a guy that's able to move and able to shoot the open 3. So again, I'd like to see him more in the pick and fade and also see him more cutting more often to be able to set up an open look for him and try to get him to his spots, as Belmont has done a really nice job trapping, which has led to those 3 turnovers we mentioned earlier.
Looking at this as well as turnovers, Belmont with 12 points off Valpo's 8 turnovers. Beacons with just 4 points off of Belmont's 3 turnovers in the first half. 20 points in the paint for the Bruins, 18 for the Beacons. 2 second chance points for both of these teams. 9 fast break points for Belmont, 8 for Valpo. Here's a big difference here, James. Bench points. Belmont has 19. Valpo just has 5 bench points so far here in this competition. Really, the starters being the main point for this Beacons team so far, getting 25 out of the 30 points. How's the bench have to step up here in this game? I mean, really, of course, score to the basket. I mean, that's the number one thing. But at the same time, a lot of shots that have been taken by players who have come off the bench really haven't been the best of looks, right, James?
Oh, no, absolutely. I think you got to work more ball movement, as we've seen the ball really just be sticking, and not enough ball movement has been happening, I think, with the first and second unit, but specifically with that second unit as well, as you really need to be able to move the ball around, as Belmont has been a really nice job of eliminating any open looks in the paint. So it's going to be key to be able to cut, being able to set good ball screens that allow easy open looks for this Beacons team, especially when you're not shooting the ball well from 3, especially tonight when you're shooting 2 for 9. You got to change it up, and you got to be able to create open looks, try to get some going in the paint to build some rhythm.
And we're going to stay tuned here to our IBW halftime show. We're going to just kind of take a quick break here. So, of course, stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Valparaiso men's basketball from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Hey, you! Don't do it! Don't take that job when you can have a career.
I'd love a career, but where?
At First Source Bank, we offer a variety of fulfilling career opportunities, schedule flexibility, good pay and benefits, educational opportunities for personal growth, and a chance to work with amazing people just like yourself. Join us.
Learn more at firstsource.com/careers. That's the number one, stsource.com. An equal opportunity employer. Male, female, disabled, veteran.
It begins here. The State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship hits the hardwood at Enterprise Center March 2nd through 5th in St. Louis. Don't miss any of the action as 12 Missouri Valley teams battle for an automatic NCAA berth. Arch Madness, presented by Valley Sports Indiana and Great Southern Bank. For tickets, call 219-464-5233. That's 219-464-5233 or visit archmadness.com.
When you need trusted electrical professionals, who do you turn to? Powering America's team of NECA and IBEW contractors can help. All of our electricians have 10,000 hours of on-the-job and classroom training to ensure the safety of your home or business electrical system. Licensed, bonded, and insured, drug-tested, and background checked. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org for a complete list of contractors, experts in residential, commercial, industrial, voice, data, video, and renewable energy projects. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. Safely powering Northwest Indiana.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURthesource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. And we return here on our IBEW halftime show. Of course, the Powering America team of Northwest Indiana. We're just about underway here to start this second half of action. I'm Zach Collins sitting alongside James Dorer here looking at the Beacons overall. So far this season, when they are trailing at halftime, they're 1-8 on the season. They're 24-81 over Matt Loddick's tenure. So not a team that's been able to really turn around deficits in games. Hopefully they can change things in that aspect coming into this competition tonight. Also looking at it, when they're playing at night, they're 2-5 so far this season. Interesting record, but you never know what's going to happen. When you kind of look at these things, you never know. But they do have a very good record at home. They're 5-3. Their only other win is on a neutral site, so you can't count it as a road win. You have to count it as a neutral site win. So Beacon's able to win in a tournament, and it was against a very great team overall. James Madison, a team that was number 70, I believe, at the time overall in the RPI ranking. So very big difference there. And, before we get things started here, James, Nick Edwards, we've seen him in competition so far. He's got 6 points, one of the 3 leading scorers for this Beacons team overall. And we talked about him pretty highly in our pregame show. And, looking at him overall, he's come in and filled in that role for Darius Diavero. Diavero actually currently looks like he's on the bench with crutches, so not a very good sign for Valpo's team. But Nick Edwards has started to fill in that hole. How do you just see Nick Edwards making an impact throughout the rest of this game?
His ability to drive to the hoop and use, once again, a wide variety of moves to finish. Really has great body control underneath the rim and is able to finish through contact. And one of the few guys on this Beacons team tonight that's been able to create his own shot and create something out of nothing. But again, for the Beacons to be successful, you really need to get Ben Cricky involved. As a team, the team's going to, rise and die with, rise and fall, I should say.
Right.
Rise and fall with Ben Cricky. So really need to get him more involved. But Nick Edwards, again, is the focal point of this team as he gets everybody involved.
We're going to enter the second half of play as Valpo will be going from right to left. Belmont will be going from left to right. Valpo with the possession here as the bounce pass goes to Ben Cricky on the far side of the floor. Hand off to Edwards, tap the key to Cricky. King with another handoff from mid-range. Jumper, that's no good. And Belmont with a rebound as Keyshawn Davidson pulls in that rebound. He's near side, guarded by Nelson. Kicks, finds Shepard on the near side, right wing. Kicks, finds Davidson, left side. Drives in, left block, kicks out. Finds Freiberg, who goes to Tyson. Tyson inside pass goes to Bronze. He drives in with the left hand, tries to go off the glass. It's no good. Foul's going to be on the interior. It's going to be a foul on the floor. Looks like it's going to be on Nick Edwards. Actually, looks like it's on somebody else on the floor. I thought Edwards made contact. It's actually going to be on Quentin Green, his first, team's first in the second half. Belmont to inbound. Goes to Tyson, drives in, gets double team on the left block. Kicks out, finds Freiberg. Now controlled by Tyson once again in the far corner. As it's now controlled by Shepard left wing. Hands it to Bronze. He spins, mid-range. Jumper is good. Beautiful attempt by Cade Tyson. Excuse me, that was Evan Bronze on the attempt.
Nice shot there by Braun. Again, not a guy that typically is a shooter there, but again, when you leave him that open, again, not a hard shot to make, but way to capitalize there by Braun.
Edwards with the attempted drive in, then kicks out, finds Green. Three-pointer is good. Nothing but net for Quentin Green.
Nice drive and kick there by Edwards to set up the opportunity for Green, who hits a contested three-pointer. Some of the Beacons would love to see a little more often from him.
Shepard kicks in. Evan Bronze puts it up off the glass. It's good. Good attempt by Evan Bronze once again. He scored the last 4 points for the Bruins. Nelson kicks to King. King drives in, puts up a shot. It's no good. He's looking for a foul. He's not going to get it. Belmont now with the basketball. Controlled by Davidson. He drives in. Left block. Tries posting it in. It's blocked away. Pulled in by Ben Cricky. Beautiful attempt on the defensive side. Nelson far side three-pointer. Steps out of bounds on the three-point attempt. Man, he was wide open too. That's the only thing, James. He did miss the attempt when he put it up with the whistle going before. Probably stopped him from fouling all the way through.
Absolutely, and that short corner that we talked about, kind of in his spot right there. So a good look there. Quality looks being generated in the early going here for the Beacons.
42-33, Valpo down by 9 in this game. Belmont's Shepard drives in, able to get that one up on the floater. 44-33, Valpo now down by 11. Right when you say the score, it's always someone scores right after, so you got to update them. Edwards drives in, left-hand layup attempt is good by Nick Edwards.
And again, got to give the Beacons credit, done a nice job so far of limiting Ben Shepard, kind of the star player here for Belmont, so got to give him credit where credit is due, as that was a tough shot that he really had to earn there.
Kicks cross court, three-point attempt for the Bruins is good. Nothing but net by Cade Tyson. 47-35, 17-12 left to go here in the second half. Edwards bounce pass to Kricky, top of the key. Rolls left side, hands off the King. He drives in, right-hand layup attempt. He's fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the charity stripe for a pair.
Again, Kobe King trying to get some contact there, generate himself to the free throw line. Has shot a fair amount of free throws already tonight, as he has shot already 5 free throws, so he'll get his 6th and 7th attempts right here, 4 for 5 on the night.
And he makes the first. I mean, James, so far we've seen Valpo step it up on their defensive side. In some aspects, they're still playing a man-to-man, really haven't switched things up on that end. But we have seen the down-low defense, as King splits a pair, really step up. We'll see how they do here.
Absolutely.
Tyson controls, gets to Shepard. Now back to Shepard as he made a pass attempt quick, back and forth action. Now controlled by Keyshawn Davidson, the right wing, goes underneath the basket, comes back out, goes mid-range, bounce pass inside of Bronze, right block, puts up the glass, gets fouled. It's going to be on number 13, Maximus Nelson, his second, team second.
Again, an easy foul call there, as Nelson didn't really move his feet there, clearly got him on the wrist, so easy foul call there for the officials. But again, if you're the Beacons, once again, you got to change up that defensive strategies. It's been way too easy for them to get the ball inside here in this early part of the second half.
Bronze at the line, makes the first at the charity stripe. And I mean, James, we've seen them change up their defense, but when you do change up the defense, you're more aggressive down low. It draws fouls, just like that attempt down there for Valpo. Bronze puts up the second. It's no good. Splits the pair at the charity stripe. Valpo coming down the floor quickly as they pass to King. Dribbles in between his legs. Tries driving in. Mid-range. Bounce pass. Goes to Green. Now kicks. Nelson 4-3 for the Beacons is no good. And a rebound by Belmont's number 10, Tyson.
Again, kind of surprised Valpo does not seem to intend on slowing down the pace at all. Seems to want to play this running gun style.
It's something we really haven't seen all year out of this Beacons team, as they're on defense. Belmont on the offensive end, as controlled up top of the key by Davidson. 8 on the shot clock left to go. Drives in, left block, kicks out, finds Bronze. 4-3 is no good. Knocked out of the hands of Nelson, but a foul's going to be called on Drew Freiberg, his first and the team's second. Man, what a play we've seen so far here to start off this second half. 48-36. Valpo currently down by 12. 15:57 left to go. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back here in 90 seconds from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor, as he does everything to make
my yard look as beautiful as I possibly can.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Experience all that John Deere has to offer at Castonia Tractor. Visit us online at castrac.com, castrac.com.
Collins and Feller Tire and Lawn Equipment strive to exemplify the true meaning of the words trust, courtesy, and honesty. In fact, many of our customers say we've done a pretty good job of it. Since 1958, we've been providing auto repair and full-service tire sales to Porter County, Indiana. Come visit us at our Valparaiso or La Crosse location, or check us out at heinold-feller.com. We look forward to many more years of providing you excellent service, because at our Heinold and Feller, your family matters to ours.
Why is Culver such a treat for so many families? Here's a hint. This treat is thick and creamy, and everyone can get it any way they like. Our fresh, frozen custard. We craft it in small batches throughout the day to make our guests stay. Shakes, cones, sundaes, concrete mixers, flavor of the day. Oh, and the toppings.
Who says you can't please everyone? There's more than one way to dessert at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. No matter the job at hand, Casonia Tractor has a John Deere equipment with the power to take it on. Whether you're mowing your lawn, hauling material, or baling hay, Casonia Tractor has the mowers, tractors, and implements you need. Find a location near you at castrac.com. And fans, as the second half is underway, it's time to nominate and vote for the State Farm Great Performer of the Game. Submit your nominations on social media by tweeting them to @Valpo Basketball. With surprisingly great rates, State Farm is the real deal. You can get personalized service from your local agent or use the State Farm mobile app when you're on the go. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I'm Zach Allen sitting alongside James Dorer, bringing you all the second half action of this Valpo basketball game. 15:57 left to go. 48-36. Belmont leads by 12. James, Belmont's been able to come into the second half with a little bit more intensity on Valpo's side, but Valpo's playing a different kind of offensive tempo.
Absolutely, as they've kind of been going to this run and gun style, trying to generate quick opportunities. Again, it's been good creating ball movement and things, and been able to get a couple easy looks inside as we've seen King go to the free throw line, a couple of Nick Edward plays.
Right.
So it's had its successes, but again, on the other end, kind of been a detraction as Belmont has been able to get some easy points as well. And when you're down by 12, kind of need to make some stops.
And I mean, Belmont's 4 of the last 5. The defensive effort really has to be stepped up here by the Beacons if they want to maintain here in this play and stop Belmont on their runs. Valpo now with the basketball. They're worrying about the offensive side currently. Pass near side goes to Barrett. Rolls up, goes left wing. Gets to Green. Now to Cricky. He's top of the key. Goes left side. Drives in. Double team. Off the glass is good for Ben Cricky.
Very nice play there by Cricky. And again, a theme by the Belmont defensive.
Belmont now on offense as Walker goes down low. Finds Shanks. He gets fouled in the attempt. He'll go to the line for 2.
Finish off that last spot there. On the defensive side of the ball, it's been a point of emphasis to make sure that Cricky touches the ball outside of the charity stripe there, making it harder for him to generate easy opportunities. But there, Cricky just drove right by him, able to finish through the contact for an easy basket.
Foul ends up being on number 5, Nick Edwards, his first, team third. At the line currently for the Bruins is number 11, Michael Shanks, shooting 54% coming into this game on the season. Puts up the second, makes the second. Good attempts by Shanks. Makes them both at the charity stripe. 50-38 the score here. The over-under was 140. We'll see how that ends up playing later here in this game as Cricky controls top of the key. Goes left side, hands it off to King. He rolls, right block, puts up a shot. It's good for Kobe King. Right up off the glass and just spins right in just right. Couldn't ask for a better attempt by Kobe King. Belmont now with a beautiful pass underneath. Isaiah Walker able to put up the reverse.
Again, a lot of back and forth action going on, but if you're the Beacons, can't really afford that here as time is continuously ticking away.
Not only do the defensive transitions have to be quick, offense has to be quick, as we've seen Valpo really with this quick tempo offense. Foul's called near side. It's going to be on Jacoby Gillespie, his second, and the team's third here in the second half. 14:35 left to go as they inbound to Nick Edwards. Kicks right wing to Green. Now to Cricky. He's looking for a man as he's almost center circle. Kicks to Green, now back to Cricky. 6 on the shot clock. King now with the basketball. Dribbles in between his legs. Drives in, mid-range. Jumper is no good. Blocked, goes out of bounds on the attempt. Last off the hands, it looked to be of Ben Cricky. Belmont with a good defensive possession on last attempt. Now they're on offense, 5 of the last 6. James, what's Valpo got to do to stop them here?
Again, I think you got to be able to switch off the guys and be able to play multiple positions if you're on the defensive side of the ball, as they've been struggling to get over ball screens today, which has allowed open looks here for Belmont.
look by Jacoby Gillespie wasn't open. It was a contested shot. He's able to get nothing but net. 54-40, under 14 left to go here in the second.
But I think as well on that defense side of the ball, you can't switch everything all the time.
Right. Edwards to King. King in the center circle, puts it up and in. Excuse me, inside circle, not center circle. That would be one heck of a shot, especially with that much time on the shot clock. 54-42, 12 points is the deficit for the Beacons here. Over 13 left to go. Belmont with the basketball. Shanks with the floater. Goes off the glass. Not good. Rebound by Kricky as he gets to Edwards. Edwards dishes. Finds Barrett. Back to Edwards. Right wing. Now to Kricky, top of the key. Ruben passes back to Edwards. Gets to Kricky. Puts up the fake. Drives in. Puts up the shot. That's no good, but he gets fouled on the shot attempt. Ben Kricky will go to the line for a pair.
I think another key as well for the Valpo defense is being able to, as I kind of stated, not having to switch on everything and being able to rotate more to guys, and that will allow them to not as much movement, as well as keeping guys in their spot, which will hopefully help them stay in front of guys and less open looks are generated, forcing Belmont to have to shoot, as this has not been their best shooting night tonight. So,
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, Belmont, they do have the lead, but overall, they came into that first half really for the opening 10 minutes shooting 33%. They've really flipped the script, however. They're shooting at 51% as Kricky splits the pair at the charity stripe. Foul was called on number 21, Derek Saban, his first, team's fourth for Belmont. Belmont now has the basketball after the missed attempt by Kricky. Ballinger gets to Bronze. Bronze top of the key. Drives, left side, spins, center circle, gets up and in. 56-43. I mean, it's just that lower circle underneath the basket that we've seen Belmont dominate in so far. It's almost like the melting pot for Valpo's defense.
Really does seem like it.
King goes up, gets blocked away once again. Beautiful attempt by Belmont on the defensive side as Gillespie comes down the floor quickly. Almost looks like he carried for a second there. Nothing called. He tucked it in. Nothing's going to be called, however. Shepard then goes left, finds Freiberg of Belmont. Bounce pass, goes right back to Bronze. Goes to Shepard. Now controlled by Gillespie. Kicks out. Shepard for three. It's good. Near side corner. Connor Barrett jumped in front of him for the defensive side, and it just fell up and in. Valpo takes a timeout. We'll take it with them. 59-43, 12:05 left to go. We're going to take a media timeout. Be back at 90 here on the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Birthday parties, vacations, family reunions. We've all had to postpone important activities, but taking care of your health isn't something you should put off. Wellness visits and screenings can identify health issues in the earliest stages when they're most treatable. And Northwest Medical Group is taking extra precautions to provide a safe and clean environment. We're committed to helping you stay well, and we offer both telehealth and in-person visits. Schedule an appointment today at mycarenorthwesthealth.com.
When you need trusted electrical professionals, who do you turn to? Powering America's team of NECA and IBEW contractors can help. All of our electricians have 10,000 hours of on-the-job and classroom training to ensure the safety of your home or business electrical system. Licensed, bonded, and insured, drug-tested, and background checked. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org for a complete list of contractors, experts in residential, commercial, industrial, voice, data, video, and renewable energy projects. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. Safely powering Northwest Indiana.
There's no need to fear. The First Source Bank mobile app is here. As fast as a mobile deposit. Built to pay bills instantaneously. Powered to balance budgets. And with a simple tap, a call is placed for that personal touch. All this power is disguised as a mild-mannered app on your phone, ready to fight for your financial freedom.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURthesource.com, you're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. The 2023 State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament tips off at Enterprise Center March 2nd through the 5th. Get your all-session tickets to Arch Madness tonight and save $20 just by calling 219-464-5600. 888-878-5233 or order online at valpoathletics.com. Get your tickets and experience the madness. We're right back here bringing you all men's basketball action. I'm Zach Collins sitting alongside James Dorer. 59-43 Belmont leads over the Beacons. And James, Kobe King with a career, really just an overall career high for him coming into this game. He was looking just for 11 points, and he's got it here tonight. 1,000 points for Kobe King. Just from even a fan perspective, Kobe King coming here was just a huge thing for Valpo. It was just something that the fans were excited for. Came out of Wisconsin. He was Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball. Came into last season, had a little bit of transfer negotiations still to go through, as we'll call it that, and finally comes into this season and will play the full season. 1,000 points, just talk about that a little bit, James.
No, it's a really impressive, accomplishment for him. It's a consistency, being able to play for, 5 years? He's a fifth-year player, so, again, a really impressive thing for him. And a guy that's really just been a model of consistency, a guy that's going to put up double figures, nightly, and just, a solid basketball player all the way around. And one of the key reasons the Beacons, one of the few bright spots in this Beacons team, and they're struggling this season.
And not only that, a team leader on the floor as Green puts up a three-point attempt. That's missed by Valpo's Quentin Green, and a rebound pulled in by Gillespie. But here from the folks at WVUR, we'd like to really wish Kobe King a big congratulations and a good luck for the rest of his career. Hope that he puts up double digits even furthermore here tonight as Belmont misses an attempt there. Hopefully he can double his point total here so far in this competition as Edwards drives in, misses that attempt off the glass. It's no good, and a rebound by the Bruins. Jacoby Gillespie for Belmont. Tries kicking out, touched by Edwards. Belmont maintains control as Ben Shepard tries driving in, kicks to Bronze. He misses that attempt, touches rim, and Quentin Green able to pick up the basketball as it just rolled out of his hands. Nelson now for Valpo. Right corner. Kicks to Cricky. Cricky on the right wing. Looks for Nelson. Back to Cricky, top of the key. He rolls towards this near side. Takes a long jump shot. That's no good by Ben Cricky. Rebound by Shepard as he tried dribbling. Just really was like, you know what, I don't want the basketball. Just dribble it out of bounds.
Yeah, it kind of just seemed like, one of those freak plays that happens. But, happens to the best of us, You
never know what's going to happen in sports, and just a minor error there by Ben Shepard. We're going to take a media timeout here. 59-43, 10:53 left to go here in the second half. You'll listen to the home of Valparaiso men's basketball from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
It begins here. The State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship hits the hardwood at Enterprise Center March 2nd through 5th in St. Louis. Don't miss any of the action as 12 Missouri Valley teams battle for an automatic NCAA berth. Arch Madness, presented by Valley Sports Indiana and Great Southern Bank. For tickets, call 219-464-5233. That's 219-464-5233 or visit archmadness.com.
Preferred 4-1 over any other orthopedic practice in the region, Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute offers the specialized bone, joint, and muscle care needed to keep you in motion. Our world-class providers serve as the official team physicians for Valparaiso University, and we have proudly delivered specialized, experienced care throughout Northwest Indiana for more than 50 years. To learn more about Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute, visit lbji.com.
When you need trusted electrical professionals, who do you turn to? Powering America's team of NECA and IBEW contractors can help. All of our electricians have 10,000 hours of on-the-job and classroom training to ensure the safety of your home or business electrical system. Licensed, bonded, and insured, drug-tested, and background checked. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org for a complete list of contractors, experts in residential, commercial, industrial, voice, data, video, and renewable energy projects. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. Safely powering Northwest Indiana.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURthesource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Single session tickets for the 2023 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Tournament are on sale now. Reserve your seat to Arch Madness in St. Louis by ordering online at Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets and experience the madness. I'm Zach Allen, sitting alongside James Dorer, bringing you live men's basketball action. 59-43, Belmont leads here in this game, and James, Valpo just really hasn't been able to knock down the shots. They're all of their last 4, haven't scored in the last 2 minutes, 11 seconds. It's that defensive pressure by Belmont that's really stopped Valpo from going to the hoop.
Yeah, every shot's really been contested, and that makes it tough to be able to, put baskets in. There hasn't been a lot of easy baskets, and once again, forcing a lot of guys to create their own shots, not a lot of easy looks, and when you're down by 16, you really need to be able to create open looks to try to get back in the game.
We'll see if Valpo's able to create anything as they're currently on the offensive possession. Ball controlled by Cricky, 6 on the shot clock, hands it off to King, now 4, looks, finds Cricky, 2, tries putting it on. He's saying that it's a shooting foul. Official just points down at the sidelines. Foul's going to be on the Bruins. It's going to be a number 5, E.J. Bellinger, his first, team's 5th. Cricky said that he was shooting on the attempt. I think he was just trying to pass it inside.
I do too, but you got to sell it as a player, know a thing or two about that. You got to flop a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, you being a football player, I bet there's some things that you've done that you think you could get a Academy nomination award for acting in.
Me? Never.
Oh, never. Kobe King with the drive and attempt. Puts up a shot. It's no good. He gets fouled on the attempt, however. Go to the line for 2. It's going to be on Ben Shepard. His first, team 6. King's going to line for a pair. And I got to ask you, James, what's one thing that you knew should not have been a flag that you have drawn at one point because you acted so well? Do you have a little story for us here? You don't have to if you don't want to.
No,
but, most players do at one point. High school or college,
Oh, most definitely. It's an example in college. I was rushing off the edge, and I actually went across the line, but I jumped at the O-line, and I was so exuberant that it was on him, and I started pointing fingers at him, and then he went up in a ruckus, and then they called the offsides on him, actually.
Wow.
My coach in film was couldn't believe that they actually fell for it. It was the oldest trick in the book. Wish I had more of an entertaining story for you.
No, that's entertaining enough. Belmont with a 3-point attempt is no good. Rebound by Drew Freiberg. Kicks out, finds Shepard. Shepard for Belmont drives in. Attempted a shot, but got blocked. Went down to the floor. Kicks out. Pulled in by Quentin Green of Valpo. Goes down the floor to Kobe King. He's coming quickly with good tempo. Puts up a shot on the float. It's no good. And a rebound by Drew Freiberg. Both these teams just going back and forth. Belmont now under control. It's Keyshawn Davidson. Looks, puts up a shot. That's no good. Knocked out of bounds. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by Connor Barrett. Maybe that'll stop the pace of this game.
Wow, yeah, that was a quick running gun game, but I had a little more detail to that story. I figured the refs just thought, a guy that animated, it's got to be on the other guy.
It's got to be on the other guy.
He's pointing at him. He's, shouting that it's got to be him. That, it must be. It was a critical situation, so I knew it was going to get yanked if it was called on me. So
inbounds actually goes with a turnover to the Beacons. You can fake a lot of things, and that's one heck of a good acting. So, I should give you a Academy nomination award for that, a Golden Globe or whatever they have for awards. I just pay attention to sports, if I'm honest. Ben Cricky looks down low, turnover as Freiberg able to get a hand in there. Davidson for Belmont drives down low, gets the carry. Turnover for the Bruins once again here. Valpo will take over.
So I'm hearing Zach Collins willing to stick to sports. Not a lot of sports players are willing to stick to sports, but it seems like you are.
I am. Is it a good idea? I sure hope so. We'll see. I got 4 months, and then I'll give you a good answer after that.
Amen to that.
Cricky drives in, left side, puts up a shot and gets fouled. The attempt doesn't fall through. We'll go to the charity stripe for a pair.
Really nice to see Cricky being able to drive in the lane there, being able to generate, a shooting foul. So something we'd like to see Cricky do more, as, hasn't really been a lot of opportunities for him, but takes advantage of that one there.
Foul ends up on number 25, Frank Jabuksek. His first, team 7th. Cricky at the line for a pair. This is the first attempt. Irabayu checking in for the Beacons here. 59-44, 8:43 left to go as Cricky splits the pair. Belmont's Keyshawn Davidson will control the basketball for the Bruins. Gets it to Tyson. Kicks back to Davidson, top of the key. Goes left side for Gillespie. Looks in for Tyson. Beautiful pass underneath for Jack Subiks. And he's able to get that one up and in. Jack Ubisek. Excuse me, I said that a little bit too quick. Bit of a longer last name to say quickly.
Really
that one under control.
Nice ball movement right there by Belmont. Set up the easy opportunity for Belbasek.
So you said it like it was nothing. I mean, whatever. We're fine. Cricky kicks out, finds Ibra Bayou near side in the corner. Attempts to drive in. Mid-range. In the paint. Spins off the glass. Official calls no good. Calls a travel. Interesting for the far side official to call that underneath, as the under basket officials right there didn't call it. But regardless, it's a travel and a turnover for the Beacons and a media timeout. We're going to take it here. 61-45. Belmont leads. 7:58 left to go. See you back here in 90 seconds from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
There are sports bars everywhere these days, but there's only one place for award-winning jumbo wings, bigger beers, and better food and drink values all week long. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. We're so much more than wings. Enjoy wraps, salads, subs, seafoods, quesadillas, amazing appetizers, and awesome daily lunch food and drink specials. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub at 501 North Silhavy in Valparaiso and online at wingsetc.com.
It begins here. The State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship hits the hardwood at Enterprise Center March 2nd through 5th in St. Louis. Don't miss any of the action as 12 Missouri Valley teams battle for an automatic NCAA berth. Arch Madness, presented by Valley Sports Indiana and Great Southern Bank. For tickets, call 219-464-5233. That's 219-464-5233 or visit archmadness.com.
Ticket Smarter is glad we are back to holding live events. If you are looking to buy tickets to the best sports, concerts, and theater events, all at the very best price, look no further than Ticketsmarter.com or on the app. Buying tickets at Ticketsmarter will help support children in need. For every ticket transaction on Ticketsmarter, $1 will be donated to a children's charity. Ticketsmarter is proud to be the official ticketing partner of bowl season. Ticketsmarter, a smarter way to buy tickets. Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com, you're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Tonight's broadcast of Valpo Men's Basketball is brought to you by Calumet Brewing and Bud Light. It's for the fans. Fans currently getting a good one here. 61-45 Bruins lead over the Beacons. I'm Zach Hahn sitting alongside James Dorer. Valpo's offense just really hasn't been able to knock things in. They're one of their last 7. They've had no field goals in the past 5 minutes and 43 seconds. And they've had a lot of great opportunities. Belmont really hasn't executed too well on their offensive end as they've had 5 turnovers in the last 4 minutes. Valpo just really hasn't been able to score.
Yeah, it's really been a struggle. And once again, turnovers aren't really helping them either, as you know, it's been a continued problem as we go back to the first half. That 8-3 turnover difference kind of continued much the same here in the second half. So, again, it's hard to come back into a game when you're not taking care of the basketball. And, again, the inability to be able to again, I mean, put it as simple as this, be able to stop Belmont, I mean, just makes it hard to come back into this game.
I mean, really, it's almost that simple. It's almost like what Lou Gore said in the pregame show, like, well, why do you have to slow starts? Well, we got to get quicker. So, I mean, really, it's just kind of that simple. Play some tough defense here. Really bring up that intensity for the remainder of this contest as Belmont now controls the basketball. Top of the key controlled by Tyson. Kicks to Freiberg. Goes left wing, now controlled by Ben Shepard, who gets it to Gillespie. Back to Shepard. Bounce pass in the far corner. Controlled by Tyson. Tries to go to Shepard. Crosses the timeline. It's almost like he didn't realize where he was on the floor at the time, because a lot of the time you see the ball go there, a player will step on the line and almost do like a long jump thing to throw it back. He just went, all right, I'll take the turnover. Probably didn't see anyone on the other side to be able to get that pass too. Probably a good decision by Ben Shepard. lost control, and another turnover for Belmont. They're now 6 turnovers in the last 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Kobe King for the Beacons drives in. Left side layup is good on the float attempt.
I like to see there by Kobe King, not looking for the foul, really just looking to put the ball in the hoop. And I think earlier in the game he was more trying to draw contact for a foul, but look, the scorer there. Nice to see there by Kobe King.
Freiberg tried kicking it to Tyson. Tyson trying to look and find Jack Ubasek. Couldn't find him down low. Looked like Valpo was going to get the ball actually in that last play too, but last being off the hand of Ben Cricky.
Again, you're going to have to get some easy scoring opportunities, get in transition, force some turnovers here to get back in the game with just about 7 minutes left in this game.
61-47, 7 minutes left to go, as you just mentioned, James, as the inbound goes to Shepard. Not controlled by Gillespie, right wing. Hands off. Gillespie now for 3. Goes and touches the back of the backboard. Misses that attempt. Cricky gets the rebound, and Nick Edwards coming down the floor for the Beacons as he's tapping the key. Rolls left. Kicks Bayou. Back to Edwards. Dishes it to Cricky, top of the key. Looking for a player. Hands it off to Edwards, who gets it back to Cricky. He drives in, gets triple team, kicks out to Edwards. Now to King. This is a 3-point attempt. That's no good. Rebound by Ibra Bayou. He looked to put up a shot. We'll see if the official counts it just as that. And it will be.
And once again, we see Belmont employing the defensive strategy of doubling Cricky in that post, forcing someone on the Beacons to shoot the basketball, which has been something they haven't been able to do tonight or much this season, to be honest.
Foul ends up going on number 0, Evan Bronze, his 3rd, team's 8th.
As they currently shoot 30% from 3 coming into today. And this game is shooting 23%.
Bayou splits the pair. You can hear the fans just a little upset with Ibra Bayou as he missed that first attempt. 61-48, 6:18 left to go here. Belmont now under control. Ben Shepard passes left wing to Tyson. Now top of the key, controlled by Drew Freiberg. Freiberg goes left side to Shepard. Shepard tries to drive it in, kicks out, finds Gillespie, goes down low to a wide open Evan Bronze as he slams it down. Man, what an attempt for Evan Bronze. The 6'9 junior center able to just make that basket his own. Ben Cricky, mid-range jumper, nothing but net. 63-50, Valpo down by 13. They need a defensive stop here. Gillespie to Tyson. Tyson rolls left, finds Shepard. Drives in, kicks out, finds Gillespie. He drives to the right side, hands off once again to Tyson. Tyson rolls around the perimeter, comes back into the charity stripe. Foot kicks the ball for just a second. Controlled now by Shepard as he gets it to Gillespie. 3 on the shot clock. Puts up a long shot. A long hierarchy. 2-pointer. Holy cow, Jacoby Gillespie. Couldn't tell you how he made that one. I've never seen a fadeaway so far back from where he actually attempted the shot. He almost ended up out of bounds.
Looked like Steph Curry out there shooting there, man. Going back and forth dribble, step back, fading away. Nice shot there by Jacoby Gillespie.
And a turnover for the Beacons as Cricky handed it off, and it was lost away by the Valpo guard as Belmont's under control. 3-point attempt is no good. That was by number 12, Drew Freiberg of the Bruins. 65-50, under 5 left to go here in this competition. Edwards drives in, loses control, and another turnover for Nick Edwards. Don't know why you try to drive in where there's 4 men standing. Out of bounds, stepping is Kay Tyson for the Bruins as he went down the floor all the way, practically a football pass. And it was, well, as they say it, not complete.
So you see Matt Loddick visibly frustrated there on the sideline as the Beacons are struggling here, and if they don't turn it around quick, this will look like their 12th loss on the season here as they're down by 15 here with a little over 4 minutes to go.
And we're going to take a media timeout. 65-50, Beacons down by 15. They've got 4:26 left to go. We'll see if they can come back in this competition. We're going to take a 90-second break. From Van Wagner, this is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Why is Culver such a treat for so many families? Here's a hint. This treat is thick and creamy, and everyone can get it any way they like. Our fresh, frozen custard. We craft it in small batches throughout the day to make our guests stay. Shakes, cones, sundaes, concrete mixers, flavor of the day. Oh, and the toppings.
Who says you can't please everyone? There's more than one way to dessert at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Reynolds and Feller Tire and Lawn Equipment strive to exemplify the true meaning of the words trust, courtesy, and honesty. In fact, many of our customers say we've done a pretty good job of it. Since 1958, we've been providing auto repair and full-service tire sales to Porter County, Indiana. Come visit us at our Valparaiso or La Crosse locations, or check us out at heinold-feller.com. We look forward to many more years of providing you excellent service, because at our Heinold and Feller, your family matters to ours.
There's no need to fear. The First Source Bank mobile app is here. As fast as a mobile deposit. Built to pay bills instantaneously. Powered to balance budgets. And with a simple tap, a call is placed for that personal touch. All this power is disguised as a mild-mannered app on your phone, ready to fight for your financial freedom.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. We are back here in the Athletics Recreation Center for the last 4 minutes, 26 seconds of this competition. Belmont leading over Valpo by 15. Of course, following this competition will be our Lakeshore Bone and Joint postgame show. Every postgame show brought to you by LBJI, the official team physicians of Valparaiso University Athletics. James Dorer and I will be breaking down the entirety of this game, and we'll talk to associate head coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore, after the following remaining time of this contest. We'll see what happens, James. I mean, Valpo, quite a few turnovers here just recently. I mean, but it's not as much as we've seen on Belmont's side of things. Belmont only had 3 turnovers coming into this second half, and overall they've got 11 as a team. So seen a big difference in terms of the turnover ratio. 8 turnovers for this Bruins squad here in this second half. Valpo now controls the basketball. 4:15 left to go. Edwards top of the key. Bounce passes to Cricky on the left wing. Hands it off to King. Rolls left. Loses control of the ball. Goes out of bounds. He's saying he got it swept out of his hand. I don't think he did, James. I mean, you and I both seeing the best angle really on this side.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on that one. That seemed like clear turnover there from King. Looks like Valpo's going to a little half-court press here. Trying to generate a turnover,
Belmont does cross the timeline, even on the press, as you just mentioned. About a 3-man press, putting 3 up, 2 back across the timeline. Belmont.
Would you look at that? They're playing a zone. Oh.
It's a good zone, too. Kick out. 2-point attempt by Vanderjent. He's able to make that one on the mid-range jumper from the free throw line.
And that's what you got to live with when you're playing that 3-2 zone, is that mid-range jumper will be open. But, again, not a shot that Belmont's hit consistently tonight. Kind of surprised it's taken Valpo this long to get to it. But one of the bright spots is Nick Edwards tonight.
As he now has the basketball, gets it to Green, now to Key, to Cricky, top of the key. Pump fake, 5 seconds on the shot clock, drives in, left hand off the glass is good for Ben Cricky. Able to knock that one in.
Nice shot by Cricky, once again being able to drive in, being able to finish through contact once again. It's been nice to see, taking advantage of the scoring opportunities that are there for him tonight.
67-52 the score, 2:50 left to go. Valpo still looking to get that 15-point deficit up to at least a tie game to stay within it. Belmont controls. Ben Shepard, near side in the corner, kicks out top of the key, gets to Gillespie. Belmont's Gillespie puts up a shot. It's no good as the shot clock was just about to expire. Nick Edwards controls, gets to Cricky. Goes to King, near side, three-pointer, nothing but net. Kobe King knocks it in.
Nice drive and dish there from Cricky to King to set up the opportunity for King and an open three, but looks like a little too late here from the Beacons as they're still down by 12.
Down by 12. Valpo uses their last timeout here with 2:25 left to go. I mean, we've seen 12-0 runs happen before. I mean, here, even in this competition tonight, we saw a 20-3 run by the Bruins. But the difference between that is it was a 20-3 run in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. They're left with 2:25 here, and Belmont really continues to go down. They just score, and with the Bruins, they have 8 fouls on their side. Valpo not even, entering the bonus on the Bruins side. Valpo only with 3 fouls so far in this game, so they've got quite a few fouls left to give. That's 4. Belmont doesn't have really any fouls left to give until the double-double, if you want to count that as 2. So big difference here. A lot at stake for this game. Valpo still looking for their first Valley win. They're 0-6 in the MVC right now. They're also looking to break that 4-game losing streak. Belmont's on a 2-game win streak. They're 4-2 in the Valley. They're looking to improve. James, it's still really anybody's game. Now, if it's a minute 25, I'd say differently. 2:25, you never know what's going to happen in the next minute.
You do never know what's going to happen. I would agree with that, but you're going to definitely need to get some turnovers and, be consistently hitting shots. But the reason why I say that is you're going to need more three-point shots to go in if you're Valpo.
Belmont to inbound. They get into Gillespie. Now controlled by Tyson. Back to Gillespie. He goes down the floor, finds Bellinger, drives in, kicks out, finds Stafford. That goes to Tyson. Back to Shepard once again. Goes down low. Brahms getting that one up and in. Beautiful attempt by Evan Bronze to be able to knock that one in. He's got 13 on the night. Valpo in control once again as Cricky has the basketball. Gets stripped away for a second. Pulled back in by Ben Cricky as he goes in to get the basketball. Puts up a shot and falls in. Ben Cricky, great attempt. Valpo needs to stop here. They're still down by 12. They get a stop. Bayou with a takeaway. Goes to King. Trying to look down low. Takeaway by Jacoby Gillespie. Comes down the floor. Gets that one up and in. But a foul's going to be called.
And I got to say, a little frustrated there if you're Coach Loddick on the effort there by Quentin Green right there. Seemed like he had a chance to maybe contest that layup right there. And at this point, now he gives him a potential chance to have an and one opportunity there by just swiping at his wrist. Kind of seems like a silly foul there.
I mean, you knew he's going to have the breakaway. You knew he's going to get it. You couldn't get in front of him to stop it. Finishes, thankfully, as he misses that one on Valpo's side for Belmont. They probably wanted that one to really close out this game, 71-57. Still really anyone's game, minute 30 left to go. Kick to Bayou. Goes up and in for Ibra Bayou off the glass in the middle circle on the floor. Able to get that right underneath the basket. Belmont inbounds, some pressure put up by the Beacons. 3-man press for Valpo. Gillespie, finally they cross the timeline just in time. Shot clock's at 22 seconds. You get 8 seconds to get across. They finally do cross. Foul is called on the Beacons. It's going to be on number 14. Quentin Green is second, and the team's fifth. Belmont bringing in a couple of subs. Number 3, Keyshawn Davidson, as well as number 12, Drew Freiberg.
It's good to see guys that don't normally get a lot of minutes get into these late game situations and just be able to get experience, especially for a team like Belmont that's looking to make a tournament run this year. So important to build that depth in game situations like these.
71-59, 1-1-1 left to go here in this competition. Belmont leads by 12. Jacoby Gillespie controls in front of his own bench, far side. Gets it to Davidson, minute remaining, as you just heard the PA announcer speak over the loudspeaker. Shepard for Belmont for 3, knocks it in. And that looks like it's really going to be the game-winning shot there. Not overall, 74-59. Valpo still has a chance here. However, the ball's knocked out of bounds. Last by Belmont's number 3, Keyshawn Davidson. As Edwards was trying to pass to Kobe King. 44.7 seconds left to go. Belmont's going to bring in a couple subs. Number 23, Jake Dystra. As well as number 20, Aiden Bracha.
I don't think the current score reflects the nature of this game, especially in that first half, end of that first half run by Valpo. So, again, it's kind of pulling away here, Belmont is, as it seems like Valpo is trying to force in.
Edwards trying to look inside to Cricky. Knocked out of bounds. I saw it off a Belmont hand. Official underneath the basket saw it off a Beacon hand. He's got the better angle, so I'll give him that. Shot clock and game clock separated by just about 7 seconds. 30 seconds left to go. 74-59. Looks like Belmont's going to take this one here. They're probably just going to dribble it out until the shot clock expires. Man, Valpo really needed a win here in this game against the Bruins. It would have been a big win as well, but it looks like Belmont's going to continue to be successful in Valley play. Shot clock expires as Jacoby Gillespie just dribbles out the basketball. Valpo will inbound with 7 seconds left to go. Fans already starting to exiting the arc here as Edwards will get it to Green. Takes up a three-point attempt and misses the shot. Reflects really the second half of this competition. Final score 74-59. Belmont wins over the Beacons. The Bruins improving to a 12-6 record. 5-2 in the Valley. They'll remain in that third spot overall. Valpo to a 6-12 record. They're going to be 0-7 in the Valley and continue on their losing streak now of 5 games for the Beacons. Valpo really needed a win here tonight. Not able to get it. We'll break down the game here on our LBJI postgame show. So stay tuned, but not before we take a break. We'll be right back here from Van Wagner. This is the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor, as he does everything to make
my yard look as beautiful as I possibly can.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Experience all that John Deere has to offer at Castonia Tractor. Visit us online at castrac.com, castrac.com.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of Hungry Howie's hot, real mozzarella cheese melting over a bed of dough made fresh today. And flavored crust loaded with any combination of our mouth-watering flavored crust flavors. You probably didn't think Irresistible had a sound. Well, it does now. Now get a meal deal for any budget starting at the irresistible price of just $5.99.
Hungry Howie's. It begins here. The State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship hits the hardwood at Enterprise Center March 2nd through 5th in St. Louis. Don't miss any of the action as 12 Missouri Valley teams battle for an automatic NCAA berth. Arch Madness, presented by Valley Sports Indiana and Great Southern Bank. For tickets, call 219-464-5233. That's 219-464-5233 or visit archmadness.com.
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. And we are back here for our LBJI postgame show. Tonight's postgame show is brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. LBJI is proud to be the official team physicians of Valparaiso University Athletics. If you bet the under in tonight's game, well, you're correct. The under was 140. 133 is the total, and the score of Belmont winning 74-59. If you're just joining us here, thank you for staying tuned to our LBJI postgame show. We're going to start by breaking down some of the stats. We're going to start with the winning team, the Belmont Bruins. They shot 60% in the second half, 37.5% from three, just 3 of 5 from the charity stripe, but overall shot 52.6% from the field, 35% from the three-point perimeter, and 7 of 9 from the charity stripe. They ended up with 74 points in this competition and were led by number 2, Jacoby Gillespie, 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists for Gillespie in this game. The 6-foot freshman really showing how good he is on the floor here in this competition tonight. Right behind him, number 22, Ben Shepard with 13, 3 rebounds. And right with him is number 0, Evan Bronze, 6 of 9 from the field, 2 rebounds, and putting up 13 points on the board. Kay Tyson, number 10, had 7 points, 3 rebounds in this competition. Sitting right behind him, number 3, Keyshawn Davidson with 5 points, 2 rebounds, and he had 4 turnovers in this game, but did get a steal in this competition for the Bruins. Number 5, E.J. Bellinger, and number 11, Michael Shanks, each having 4 points apiece. A couple players falling right behind. Number 12, Drew Freiberg, with 3 points in this competition. A couple of other players each with 2 points. We had Jubajek and Walker putting up 2, as well as Vanderjet putting up 2 points. And 2 players who played but did not score, Aiden Brecka and Jake Dykstra. And the Bruins actually having 13 turnovers overall as a team, 10 of those coming in the second half. A bit different in terms of their play in the second half, but they still shot better from the field, took 7 less shots in the second half, but made the same as they did in the first. 15 of 25, 15 of 32 in the first. I mean, Belmont just came into the arc. They knew what they wanted to play. They played a very good first half in the first 15 minutes. I'd say the last 5 minutes of that first half, I would take Valpo if I had to. But then you come into the second half, and really the last 10 minutes of play in the second half was just dominated by the Bruins.
Absolutely. And one thing that sticks out to me is that second half was 60% shooting from the field from Belmont, shot close to 40% from 3, going 3 of 8 there. And it's just, that's going to win you a lot of games when you're scoring that much on offense, able to put up 74 points. I mean, that's going to win you a lot of games. And I'd say their bench play was really key tonight. They had 33 points off the bench. As you brought up, Jacoby Gillespie, the leading scorer tonight, with 15 points, including that highlight fadeaway mid-range jump shot he had. When you're getting production off your bench like that, it really helps, not put as much pressure on the starters, but also just helps you be able to win games, because that makes a difference, as Valpo only scored 8 off the bench tonight. So I think that was one of the biggest differences in the game, is that bench play in the second units is right there. A 33-8 difference is pretty hard to make up.
And, I mean, as you mentioned, looking at it overall, I mean, Jacoby Gillespie, one of the leading scorers with 15 points, 33 bench points for the Bruins. That's still quite a few bench points offered for the rest of the players overall sitting on that bench. They could come into the game and really just dominate on the floor. We saw that here in this competition tonight. And, I mean, looking at it overall, Gillespie came into this game averaging 8 points, almost doubles his average total, brings it to 15 in this competition. And as you mentioned, we'll just take a look into some of the points off of turnovers for the Bruins with 18. 36 of their 74 points were in the paint, 4 second chance points, and 11 fast break points for the Bruins. And like you mentioned, James, 33 points off the bench for Belmont over Valpo's 8. And really, that's a big difference there. Valpo needs some players, some fresh legs to come on the floor, be able to bring some energy, some intensity, and score. I mean, that's how Matt Loddick really has run his offense in the past, is he brings in a lot of bench players, typically plays 10 players in the competition. But if you got 5 of those players coming onto the floor and you only got 8 points to account for it, that's tough to be able to stay in games.
I think it's tough, too, because Valpo only played 9 guys tonight, as we brought up, as DeVario and Hedstrom played less than 3 minutes in the game, so you really only had 7 guys, so not a lot of fresh legs being able to play today, and that just hurts your team. As if you look at the Belmont side, there's at least 12 guys that played significant minutes. That's disincluding the guys that came in at the very end there. So 12 guys playing significant minutes. That depth matters. That's what win you games in these these tough and grueling Missouri Valley games, conference play.
And conference play is ramped up here. Valpo, unfortunately, not getting the win. If you just joined us, final score 74-59. Belmont taking the win over the Beacons. And going to the Beacons with those 59 points in the second half, they shot 50% from the field, 33% from 3, just went 2 of 6 from outside the perimeter. Overall, in the game, they shot 22 of 52 at 42.3%, and 4 of 15 from 3, 26.7% from the three-point marker, 11 of 18 from the charity stripe. And that's a big difference, too. You're losing 7 points from free shots is essentially what free throws are. It's just a free shot given to you, nothing there, nothing to contest you. When you put 7 points down, you could put that on the scoreboard. It's not going to make a difference in the final score, but it can make a difference in how you look at it as a player. All right, we're only down by 8 guys. We can come back within this one. I said, it was still contested with about 2:25 left to go, and really we just saw Belmont just continue to play good defense. They made the shots that were crucial late in the game, and they were able to keep that lead. But, of course, looking into the Beacons, they're led by the career-high leader. He got 1,000 points total as he hit the 11. Now he's at 1,006 points with 17 points in this game. He had 2 rebounds, and that's Kobe King. 5 of 16 from the field, 6 of 9 from the charity stripe. Right behind him, number 23, Ben Cricky, putting up 15 points, 8 rebounds in this competition. Those are the only 2 players for the Beacons in double digits, as the third leading scorer, number 5, Nick Edwards, had 8 points here in this competition tonight. Sitting right behind him, number 13, Maximus Nelson, 3 rebounds and 6 points. Ibra Bayou with 1 rebound and 6 points as well, with matching Nelson in the point totals. Looking right behind them both, number 14, Quentin Green with 5 points, and number 3, Connor Barrett, putting up 2 points and getting in 5 rebounds. A couple of players who played but did not score. Number 4, Darius Diavero, who is injured. We're going to actually ask head coach Matt Loddick about that here in our post-game show when he eventually heads up here to the bleachers, as well as number 32, Joe Hedstrom, played but did not score in this competition. Valpo had 8 points off turnovers, 34 points in the paint, 3 second chance points, 11 fast break points, and only 8 bench points here in this competition tonight. Looking at it overall, Belmont led in the first half by 8, 38-30, and that was after they went on a 20-3 run at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Valpo was able to come back in that first half, really be able to make a standstill. We thought coming out of the half that Valpo would have a lot of intensity, James, but really it was just the opposite on Valpo's end.
It really was, as they seemed to really struggle to be able to create open looks for themselves, as it was hard for them. It seemed to be the ball was sticking, not a lot of ball movement today. And, Ben Cricky, although he had 15 points, a lot of those points didn't really come until the game was out of hand. For the majority of the game, really, Belmont did a great job of limiting his opportunities and making sure he wasn't getting to his spots. But I'd say one bright spot, again, for this team was Nick Edwards. Seemed to really have a bounce-back game today. Only scored 8 points, but had 9 assists, so really creating opportunities for others. And someone that, again, the Beacons are going to need if they're going to make a deep tournament run here in the Valley.
And, I mean, Nick Edwards, as you mentioned, with the 9 assists, averaging, I believe, he is averaging 2.2 assists per game coming into this competition, so that's definitely going to bring not only that up, but it's going to bring him up as he comes out into the next game. Valpo's going to be taking on Evansville, a team that really Valpo could beat in this competition. And looking at it, Evansville not one of the better teams in the Valley, as their current record is worse than Valpo's. They're 4-13 on tonight, 2-4 at home, 1-7 away for the Purple Aces. So they are going to be playing at home. Valpo is looking for their first road win in that Evansville competition. So definitely look at that. Evansville also without a Valley win yet so far coming here tonight. So definitely a big game for both of those teams coming into that one. And, one other thing to mention here, James, is, Valpo took such a long time to change up their defensive strategy. Really, it wasn't until the last 5 minutes of the game where we saw Valpo switch to his own defense.
Yeah, and that was something we were talking about, on the broadcast earlier, why they hadn't done it sooner, as Belmont continuously hurt them from the three-point line, but more specifically inside the paint within 2 feet.
Right.
Again, they had some success with that zone late in the game. They were able to create a lot of turnovers, as in the second half we saw Belmont have many more turnovers, as they only had 3 in the first half. In the second half they had 10 turnovers in the second half. I mean, that's quite a big difference there, but once again, with a lot of those coming in the last couple minutes of the game when they switched to that zone defense. But once again, I think for Valpo, it's about differing up the schemes in what they do, as they really seem to struggle to deal with the back doors, getting over the screens, as they were switching everything for the majority of the game.
Right, and I mean, even one thing you'll look at, too, Valpo had some runs of their own. They had a 7-0 run. They had an 11-0 run at one point in this game. But Belmont at one point had a 17-0 run, which contributed to a 20-3 run overall in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And to me, that's crucial in a game if you're Valpo, looking on their side of things. I mean, they shot 42% from the field. Belmont shot 52% from the field. That's 10% better than the Beacons. That's also going to make a big impact. I mean, typically you don't see teams win if there's a differential of 10% shooting from the field on either side. I mean, you just don't. You're going to see the other team who's got the higher shooting percentage win that basketball game because they're shooting the ball better, they're moving better on the floor, and we've definitely seen Valpo do that in little spurts of this game. I mean, it's almost like Valpo's got a bunch of sprinters on the court. not a lot of long-distance runners. Those long-distance can take it all the way down to the wire. Those sprinters, they can take it to the finish line, and wherever that finish line is for some of these Beacons, we're going to find out. We're going to take a quick break here, and hopefully Associate Head Coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore, joins us up here on our LBJI postgame show. So we'll be right back here in 90 seconds. From Van Wagner, it's the Valpo Sports Radio Network.
Preferred 4-1 over any other orthopedic practice in the region, Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute offers the specialized bone, joint, and muscle care needed to keep you in motion. Our world-class providers serve as the official team physicians for Valparaiso University, and we have proudly delivered specialized, experienced care throughout Northwest Indiana for more than 50 years. To learn more about Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute, visit lbji.com.
It begins here. The State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship hits the hardwood at Enterprise Center March 2nd through 5th in St. Louis. Don't miss any of the action as 12 Missouri Valley teams battle for an automatic NCAA berth. Arch Madness, presented by Valley Sports Indiana and Great Southern Bank. For tickets, call 219-464-5233. That's 219-464-5233 or visit archmadness.com.
Reynolds and Feller Tire and Lawn Equipment strive to exemplify the true meaning of the words trust, courtesy, and honesty. In fact, many of our customers say we've done a pretty good job of it. Since 1958, we've been providing auto repair and full-service tire sales to Porter County, Indiana. Come visit us at our Valparaiso or La Crosse locations, or check us out at heinold-feller.com. We look forward to many more years of providing you excellent service, because at our Heinold and Feller, your family matters to ours.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of Hungry Howie's hot, real mozzarella cheese melting over a bed of dough made fresh today. And flavored crust loaded with any combination of our mouth-watering flavored crust flavors. You probably didn't think Irresistible had a sound. Well, it does now. Now get a meal deal for any budget starting at the irresistible price of just $5.99.
Hungry Howie's!
Live on WVUR 95.1 and streaming at WVURTheSource.com. You're listening to the Valpo Sports Radio Network. And we are back here on our LBJI postgame show. I'm Zach Allen, sitting alongside James Dorer. If you're just joining us here on WVUR, the final score, Belmont 74, Valparaiso 59 is the final score here. Valpo will go and fall to a 6-12 record. Belmont will flip that script, and they improve to a 12-6 record. They're going to be 5-2 in the Valley. Valpo 0-7 in Valley play. But as we mentioned in the break, James, they're going to be taking on Evansville, a team who also has not won a game yet in the Valley. They're going to be taking them on January 14th, so just 4 days from now, that's going to be at Evansville. Valpo not only will be looking for their first Valley win of the season, but their first road win of the season, and to break a 5-game winning streak. How crucial is that game for the Beacons?
I mean, I don't want to say a must-win game, but it really is a must-win game because for them, in order for them to even have a chance of winning the Valley or, feeling confident going into tournament play, they got to start turning things around. As you're seeing teams now for a second time in conference play, although this is the first meeting between these two teams this year. So it'll be interesting to see how Valpo responds after another crushing defeat. Again, hoping to snap a 5-game losing streak going into Evansville. But again, just for team morale and team confidence, when you keep stacking up losses, tend to get, friction within the team, friction between coaches and players. Wins make that, go away, I guess.
Right, and I mean, one thing, too, to look at, they're going to be taking on Evansville and UIC, two teams that are sitting with them at the bottom of the Valley currently right now. So 2 games that are very winnable coming into the rest of this season. Valpo really has to look to break that losing streak. On the opposite side, Belmont's going to be taking on UNI on the same day, January 14th, as the Beacons are taking on Evansville, as we're joined up here by Associate Head Coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore. And, Coach, there were some spurts where the team looked perfect. You were able to come back within this game. I mean, at one point, Belmont went on a 20-3 run in 6 minutes and 30 seconds in the first half overall. You're able to devastate that to 8, but the second half just not able to stay within it. Really, what was a key aspect of that second half that you weren't able to stay within it early starting off?
Give them a lot of credit. They played well. That run when we had 17, we just stuck there or 13 and only scored 4 points in the first half was tough. They made a line change. They made some timeouts. And then they started getting more physical on our cuts and held us away from getting to the basket. And, we didn't respond well in that moment. We responded well after that moment, and then we made a run. We cut to 4 before halftime, and then they got the last 4 points a half. We cut it to 6, and then they got 4 and we got 2. And so, there was fight there. And in the second half, they got cuts, and we had to guard long in possessions and ended up getting their NBA player got the ball at the end of the clock and made some shots. And we didn't make enough. We didn't make enough shots at the rim.
And Coach, looking in this too, the defense was pretty good throughout the first half. They're able to stop some runs by Belmont late in that first half overall. The second half, the defense really wasn't able to be a big impact in this game. Really, the offense had to score. Just talk about the defense and what needs to change coming into the next game.
Well, our attention to detail has to be better. We have to, in the amount of time we have to, the simplicity of communication, of following the scouting report, staying between your guy and the basket. Those things we got to continue to get better. Belmont's one of the toughest teams to do those things because of their randomness, their shooting ability. We did a good job taking away Drew. He had 8 threes last game, and he's one of the best shooters in the league. We held him to 1 for 5. Unfortunately, hit his first 3 of the game on a blown coverage right off the bat, which we went over a ton. We just have to be more attention to that detail and go over it more so we don't make that mistake. And so there's highlights. We guarded the three-point line better than we did, last game against them. They're an amazing shooting team. But we also didn't stay between our guy and the basket, and they got some easy baskets at the rim.
One other positive to look at, too, Kobe King actually getting a career-high 1,000 points, actually sitting at 1,006 points currently. Just talk about him overall in his career and a little bit about him here in this game tonight.
Kobe's he's trying, and, for him to everything he went through, I don't think he would have ever thought he would have scored 1,000 points in college. I don't think he ever thought he was going to get a college degree. He's going to be able to get a great college degree from Valpo. And so there's a lot of positives with that scenario, and I just wish he'd have scored his 1,000 points in a win.
Right. And one other thing to look at, too, in terms of the positive end, you're going to be taking on Evansville, which is a team that has not had a Valley win yet. They're looking for their first win here. It's going to be, you as well as Evansville really looking up to match in that game. Just talk about the Purple Aces. You're also looking for your first road win of the season overall that's not at a neutral site. So just talk about the Purple Aces and what you need to do to succeed in that game to pull a win in Valley play.
Both doing the same thing. Both trying to string together a win and then get 2 and then get 3. And so, it's, searching for, what our current teams can do to compete and win. And so it's going to be a challenge. It's on the road at a place that, Valpo in the history of the last 100 years, we've only won 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So it's a tough place no matter who's on the roster. It's always been tough for Valpo to go down there and win. But that's what we got to do. We got to get down there. We got to stick together. We got to compete. We got to believe in ourselves, just like life every day. Everybody gets knocked down. You get knocked down a lot. We just got to keep getting back up, and we got to get better. We got what's our mentality? What is the mentality? Are we pretenders or are we competitors?
Right.
And I think we got competitors there. So and that just means you got to work now, and we got to keep working. And it won't be fun all the time, but we got to work.
Well, Coach, I hope that you can work hard and continue to get this team up on a pace and take on Evansville. Hopefully you get a win against the Purple Aces. Thank you for joining us here on our LBJ postgame show.
Thanks.
That is Associate Head Coach of the Beacons, Luke Gore. It was a pleasure to be able to talk to him. We talk to him on every single LBJI postgame show right here on WVUR, The Source 95.1 FM. And once again, Valpo loses in Valley action 74-59 over Belmont. And, James, before we close things out here on our LBJI postgame show, any final thoughts here?
No, I think the biggest thing I would say is, for Valpo, kind of just looking forward, the biggest thing is, you got two solid guys in Cricky and King. And then you have the emergence of Nick Edwards, who's really going to have to step up once again with the loss of DeVario today. But I think more than anything, and you heard from, Coach Gore, what he was saying is kind of, being more defensively sound and being able to stop teams, is Valpo's able to score, been able to score pretty well this season, but they're struggling in their inability to stop other teams. And I think the simplicity part of it, but I also would say, mixing it up more often, right? I mean, playing some man, switching off on some pick and rolls, but then also, at times, fading off and not switching over everything, trying to work over the top. So,
well, I mean, James, one thing to look at, too, in terms of the positivity, Valpo's going to be taking on Evansville, a winnable game. And you mentioned Coach Gore saying they're in single digits in terms of games at Evansville. It's a tough place for any team to play, women's or men's on either side. It's really a tough place down there in Evansville to play. Hopefully they can pick up a win there. Then they take on UIC, 2 very winnable games for the Beacons to not only end this losing streak, but end the losing streak in the Valley and to get a first Valley win on the season. So definitely stay tuned on WVUR for both of those contests later in the coming week. We hope that you stay tuned to the Valpo Sports Radio Network tomorrow as the women's basketball team will take on UIC, as I will have that call for you at 7 p.m. with a pregame show starting at 6:30 p.m. We'd like to give a quick shout-out to our sponsors who made tonight's broadcast possible, including Calumet Brewing, Casonia Tractor, Wings, etc., Lakeshore Bone and Joint, Northwest Health, First Source Bank, Hungry Howie's, Culver's, IBEW, Royal Excursion, and Ticket Smarter. I'd also like to thank Noah Godsell for switching us on and off back in the studio. It's great to have him here back on the campus of Valparaiso University once again. And students are back as we're coming back to classes tomorrow, which is a positive and a negative in some ways too. But as much as you get it here. Tonight's presentation of Valparaiso men's basketball has been an exclusive presentation of Van Wagner Sports and Entertainment. The general manager of Van Wagner Sports and Entertainment for Valpo Athletics is Blair Minton. This broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Valparaiso men's basketball here on the WVUR's The Source 95, and any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of WVUR is prohibited. The general manager of WVUR is myself, Zach Collins. The sports director for WVUR is Noah Godsell, and the assistant sports director for WVUR is the new assistant sports director, Soren Burkholder. Once again, your final score here from the Arc: Belmont 74, Valparaiso 59. For James Dorer, I'm Zach Collins. Thank you for listening to another presentation of Valparaiso Beacons basketball right here on the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Enjoy what is left of your Tuesday night, as we will see you back here on WVUR tomorrow as we say so long from the Vale of Paradise. That was another presentation of Valparaiso Beacon Athletics on WVUR The Source 95, the Valpo Sports Radio Network. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of WVUR The Source 95 is prohibited. We thank you for listening to today's contest as we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming on WVUR The Source 95 Valparaiso.